Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Show of hands, who wants OBJ back in Cleveland?
Two hands up.
Wow, even you, Jay.
I do.
Let's
I
go.
do.
Let's get it jumping.
Wow.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
I just think there's better
Bring back
choices.
Jarvis Landry, too. He's a free agent. I'll take them both.
I mean, every wide receiver, listen, it's good. Let the Browns be aggressive.
Yeah.
In the end, if they like him, okay, I'm not liking him. I don't like. My anti-Odell has nothing to do with any off-the-field stuff or any of that. It's just I don't think he can stay healthy and help the Browns.
Yeah, that's a big
He's
concern.
always hurt.
That's legitimate.
He better back down from that $20 million asking.
Nobody's
I'm
paying
sure
him
he's
$20
getting
million.
You tripping with that?
I don't think he's getting that.
I ain't mad at him for asking.
I saw another report
But you
earlier
ain't
this
getting it,
morning that said he's made no financial demands.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if I
fishy.
believe that or not. but
Who knows what's true?
Yeah.
It's silly season. I love it.
It is silly season.
Yeah.
So in 59 minutes from right now,
Yes.
the legal tampering period is underway, which means that teams can announce deals with players. The true free agent season begins on Wednesday.
Right.
So they're
There is
unofficial
so much
deals,
to get
yeah.
into.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
God.
it's just we'll get into all of it. We'll talk about who's on the Browns' radar. The big news: the Browns restructured the deal of Deshaun Watson. We knew that was coming.
Yep.
It saves them $36 million on the cap, which means that give or take. I know JJ3 is going, but give or take, it's going to be about $22 million, anywhere from $22 million to $30 million is what I'm hearing in cap space, and that's a good number.
Currently, and
absolutely.
that could go up with the restructuring of other deals.
It could go up, and
Yeah.
some of those deals are likely to be restructured. So you could be looking upwards of $40 million.
Restructuring is always good. I was 12 years old, OG. My mom and dad was like, we'll give you $20 a home run. I hit 22 that year. They needed a restructure.
So you were that kid. You were as big at 12 as you are now.
Yeah, they said cut all this. The next year, if no incentives involved, you gonna play for
That's
11
it.
games.
You got a max deal,
I
though.
got max
They
deal.
said now we'll give you $20 a stolen base instead.
That's right.
They moving the goalposts.
Oh, that's great. So we're going to get into all of the names, and there are so many names that are pegged to the Browns.
Which is exciting.
It is exciting
Yeah.
because if there's 10 experts, and that's roughly how many I follow and really legitimately
Sure.
believe, you can add up all of the names that they mention, you're over 20. Just in terms of linebackers, defensive linemen, wide receivers. It's all over the board. We're going to
Yeah.
dive into it.
Okay.
Our second hour today, guys, is probably going to be one of the most frenetic hours of television that we've done so far.
No doubt.
Explain why, Bull.
Well, because starting at 12 o'clock, you're going to see news break, and we're going to just jump on. We don't have anything specifically planned for the second hour.
No.
As soon as because even if it's not the Browns, if another big player signs with another team, it's interesting. If somebody signs with the Steelers or the Ravens or the Bengals, it's all interesting. It
one
all
of the guys
factors
that
in.
we're targeting that goes to someone else.
So things go crazy.
Yeah.
You said, and it's true, that the legal tampering period begins at noon, but the illegal tampering has already begun.
Well, of course it has, because we've already heard
Yes.
about dots being connected and everything
Right.
else. One of the big things that happened over the weekend, and I know that this moved the needle for everyone, Jalen Ramsey was traded from the Rams to the Dolphins. Everybody was going nuts over that. I am not, because
No.
he's not Jalen Ramsey. You know, remember when Nnamdi Asomugha
Was that dude?
Yes.
was that guy, and
Yes.
then everybody went nuts when he got moved to the Raiders?
We never heard from him again.
You never heard from him again. Like, these guys get old, like you were saying last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When a wide receiver hits 31, wash your hands of them. And I also say when a prime cover guy hits 30,
They go quickly.
They go like this.
And I remember looking at it like this. I was watching them during the beginning of the season. I came in and told Tyvis, I said, look, I ain't no DB, but I don't think he's that good right now. He said,
No.
oh, my goodness.
Well,
I
Tyvis-
can't believe it. Yeah,
You
you're
ended up
right.
being right.
Tyvis has been saying that for a while. But here, to me, the big story of the weekend was that Bears-Panthers trade.
That was big.
That happened Friday night.
yeah.
I mean, listen, you never know what a team's going to do with draft picks.
Right.
But kudos to the Bears. I think they made a
First
great
off-
trade.
I do too. They got a haul.
First, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like people running around here, I told Justin Fields is that guy, right? Now you had to surround him with other people, and that's what they did. I know they was moving that pick.
You like him better than Stroud?
Do I like Justin Fields?
Better than Stroud.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
I actually don't like the trade. I'm
I
not
do.
gonna lie, guys.
I do.
Why? What do you
Well,
like about
why?
it?
I think they got to haul back, but I think this draft in particular has 2 or 3 guys outside the quarterbacks who are legitimate can't-miss prospects. And when you go into the pick or to the draft with the number 1 pick and you trade back, I still think you need to put yourself in a position
Yeah,
to
but
get
here's
one
the
of
thing,
those
Mike.
guys.
Can I see that list again? I was talking.
No, hold on. Let me tell you about this. So you got a person that has extensive experience looking at Justin Fields play every day, right?
Yeah.
Every day.
No, I'm not saying take a quarterback.
No,
Brad. I'm saying if you're going to get one of the other
saying-
non-quarterbacks.
I'm saying
He's saying they traded too far down. But here's what I would
Yes.
say is that I'm assuming there's going to be 3 quarterbacks taken in the top 8, right? So to
And
me,
that's safe.
they're going to get the 5th best non-quarterback at worst. On their board, it might be higher. So for dropping from the best non-quarterback to the 5th best non-quarterback, they get another first, 2 seconds, and
DJ
the
Moore.
first good wide receiver they've had in forever.
Yeah, put that list back up there again, right? This is a haul.
Yeah.
This is a freaking haul.
That's why
You
it's
go,
a good deal.
you
in
go
my
from
view.
1 to 9. You get 60 first. You get a first round, so you got 2 first rounds in 24.
Right.
You got a second round, presumably a high second round in 25. That's what the Bears have so many holes.
They do.
They had so many holes. You have to fill them. And I would just tell you, and I know people was on me about this Chubb thing, right? At some point, a franchise is going to have to fill its holes, and you can't fill them all by free agent signing. I don't care how much cap space you got.
Right.
You got to maneuver, right? And it requires sometimes giving up something to get something.
I think what spawned this move, I think they wanted to go with the big D tackle from Georgia first. That stuff happened. Their hope is
They'll fall.
he'll fall.
That is
9,
their hope.
I mean,
I don't think he's going to fall that
Yeah.
far. Someone's going to take a.
If he
Well,
does,
if
then
he starts
it's
slipping
trade to
too
steal.
far,
Yeah.
yeah. If he starts slipping too far, I think someone else will make a move and go up and get him.
I believe they did it because they believe there's going to be a run on quarterbacks.
Right.
Now,
and they think they'll still get one. They probably have 5 guys they like, and they're like, all right, maybe we have to take our 5th choice instead of our 1st.
Right.
We love enough guys. Here's the fascinating thing to me, I don't know if you guys saw this. After this trade was over, Schefter reported, now who knows what the truth is, but Schefter said that the Panthers are allegedly not sure who they want at 1. And I'm thinking, you gave up all that and you're not sure? Now maybe he's being misled?
Did you see the new report this morning?
I saw
Frank
Schefter.
Reich is a huge C.J. Stroud fan.
I did see that.
But Dave Tepper, the owner, loves Bryce Young.
Uh-oh.
That's a problem.
The
Owner
owner usually
involvement.
wins those battles. The owner usually wins.
And he a new owner too. He just
Yeah,
got
second- couple of years,
relatively
yeah.
new,
Relatively
but
new.
Reich is a new coach.
Yeah.
And historically, the owner wins those battles.
So I'm going to tell you, Bryce Young at 5'10", they better be thinking about the 5'10", 180. Okay. What's the longevity on that?
We'll get
this kid here.
Yeah, that scares the hell out of me.
He can throw the ball, big body, right? I think he got an upside to him.
But let me ask you this, Brad.
Yeah.
How much does the string of, I don't want to call it failure, that's harsh, but certainly non-success
Oh, yeah. I get
by
it.
Buckeye quarterbacks in the NFL, that's got to be swirling around in the minds of anybody that's looking at C.J.
Well,
Stroud.
let's talk about. Okay, so name your people. Who are you talking about? Schlichter?
No. I'm just talking about the recent run of quarterbacks.
Like, who was the recent run?
I mean, Justin Fields is the most recent.
Justin Fields gonna be a player.
But it's unproven
listen,
yet.
I said he's going to be a player.
The verdict's out.
For
Verdict's still
sure.
out. I agree.
We've seen moments, but we've also seen moments.
Well, I would say this: when you're assessing anybody, right? Justin Fields has literally nobody around him, nobody, and he's still killing, right?
He
What if
wasn't killing, though.
Yes, he
Brad.
was killing. Yes,
Not
he was.
throwing the ball, though. He was
Who
running.
he throwing it to?
Here's the thing, though. Braxton Miller killed it. Troy Smith killed it.
Hold on.
On
Braxton,
and on. Help me out.
Braxton Miller. No disrespect to
Cardale
Braxton
Jones
Miller.
killed
Jones.
it.
Braxton Miller. No disrespect to any of those guys, right?
Right.
They're not top tier dudes. They're not.
Coming out, they were.
Where? In the Big Ten? Yeah.
I mean,
But Brad,
They not here.
Brad, these guys have been. Buckeyes have had highly touted quarterbacks now going back 6 years.
Let me tell you that thing.
8 years.
No, listen. I like.
They just haven't panned out.
I like Cardale Jones. I like Braxton. They're not Josh Allen. That's not who they are.
But neither is Justin Fields.
Well, here, Ohio State.
Or C.J. Stroud.
Ohio State here has one of the biggest hype machines running around here.
Yeah.
Of course they
Right?
do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't never take in consideration where a person went to school.
I agree with that.
I go person for person, skill for skill. your tape, your interview. He's a different quarterback than Cardale Jones, respectfully. He has a different skill set. Now, if you want to say, I wouldn't even compare him to Justin Fields just because Justin Fields is a dynamic runner. Stroud made it a point to tell people, I'm in the pocket.
He did.
This is what I'm going to do in the pocket. I'm going to throw the. Now, some people could say, you look really good because you done had 5 of the best receivers we had ever seen in the history of the game.
Right.
You had Njigba.
It's the pieces.
You had Olave. You had Garrett.
Look at the line. He has all day to throw. That's not going to be the case.
You got Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, but it was the same thing for Fields. And I think whatever you want to argue about Fields, the jury is still out. We don't know for sure yet what he is.
Right.
And we know he can run. We don't know in the passing game. We don't know yet. It is fair that he has not had talent. It's now fair that he has a really good receiver in DJ Moore. So we'll find out for sure about Justin Fields this year.
Yeah.
But the thing to me in the end is, and again, I'm just guessing just like anybody else. From Carolina's perspective, I'm like, I don't see Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence in this draft. I don't think any
QB class. That's what both the guys who came on, Bugler and Ryan Wilson
coming
said.
in. There isn't. Now,
there isn't that one guy.
We have to be careful because sometimes drafts look thin. A guy hits the NFL, and everybody's all of a sudden like, wow, didn't see that coming. I mean, remember where Patrick Mahomes went in the draft?
Yeah.
And Watson.
Remember where Tom Brady went in the draft? Those are the 2 greatest, perhaps, ever to play the position.
Hey.
Well, Mahomes was still a first-round pick. That's a huge.
He was a first-round pick, but it wasn't like he was a can't miss. If you were to ask everybody when he was coming out, like, he's going to be a nice piece.
Yeah.
Nobody I thought he was going to be the next Tom Brady.
No, sure. You never know. Right. I'm just saying.
So we don't know.
At this point, we're all guessing, and none of these guys feel special to me.
We blew by Bull's Bet, so we got to put the Bull's Bet and go in reverse.
And as always, Bull's Bet is brought to us by Bet Rivers Online Sportsbook. Hey, Ohio, Bet Rivers is the place to be for every single game this March. Now is the perfect time to join Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you use deposit code SPORTS, you'll receive a second chance bet up to $500. Get in on all the action with weekly specials on your favorite sports like basketball and hockey. To help you win big, check out BetRivers.com or download the BetRivers app today for the latest lines, odds, and boosts. Bull, what's up?
How'd you do Friday?
Friday was, I think, my best win because I guaranteed an Ohio State victory Friday, and they won. They won outright.
Wow.
Now they lost on Saturday.
And he even picked them against the wrong team, but still won.
I did pick them against the wrong
Right.
I thought they were. Yes, I admit that.
Bull was basically saying whoever they're playing, they're going to win.
Yeah. And they did.
So what's your record now?
7-7.
7 and 8.
8. I think I'm 500.
One under 500.
7 and 8. Okay.
No, I'm 500.
Well, it makes
Mike.
sense. We've been doing this for. Well, you had a couple of long-term.
Yeah. I think I'm 500. I think I'm 8 and 8.
He's 8 and 9. Bull went 1 and 4 last week.
I think you're wrong on that, but all right. Let's get
I got them all. I got them all right here.
That's what this week is for. Let's get our money back.
Let's go. Let's get it back here, Mike.
What's your bet?
Show the bet here for this week. So minus 215. It's a favorable bet, but a 13 seed will beat a 4 seed in the first round.
Now the hot one is always the 12 and the 5, right?
12-5. Yeah.
12s have had unbelievable success.
But I'm going with the 13 at minus
right.
215.
That's
13
a bit
seed.
of a
That's
gutsy bet.
That's a stretch.
Kent State, maybe.
Again,
We're gonna get to that in a little bit.
that's a stretch.
You don't like it?
Well, I'm looking at the 13-4. I'm looking at 13-4 seeds, right? So I don't see anybody with 13 beating any 4s.
All right, well,
Well,
see.
neither does the committee.
Right, that's right.
But a 12 beats a 5. Sometimes
year.
multiple 12s
Yes, that's
beat
right.
5s.
12
Every
is
year.
12 is a hot number.
The
right?
last thing you want to do is be a 5 seed. You know you're going to get a strong mid-major
Right.
or a lower-tier big conference school that's going to come up and punch you in the mouth.
That's right.
It happens a lot.
And I did not do my podcast this morning because I was like, it's going to become irrelevant by noon. So I'm doing one this afternoon instead.
Oh, yeah,
after
you're right.
so the news starts to break.
Now, I know with the biggest snub in the tournament, the only reason I think this is because I'm tied to my son and Rutgers.
Yeah.
We've had an ongoing dialogue for 3 weeks where they kept losing late in the regular season.
Yeah.
And I said, Corey, this is a must-win. If they don't win,
Yeah.
they're out. We're in. We've got all these, tier Q, whatever the hell they call them now.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
quad
we've
ones,
got
quad
10
twos.
quad 1 wins.
So do we think
And
they
I
got
said,
screwed?
Yeah, well,
No.
they were widely regarded. I saw somebody wrote a piece this morning, not a New Jersey outlet, said that this is one of the biggest snubs in the last decade. I thought that was a little harsh.
Here. I'm a guy that follows. I don't think they got snubbed. Right?
You don't?
I don't think they got snubbed at all. I think they stumbled into the position. If they had won just one
They lost so many games down the stretch.
Big Ten tournament game.
No, they did. They won
Well,
2 Big Ten tournament games, didn't they?
So if they got to the early games,
Yeah, you don't count those.
you got to play somebody.
I count
right?
them all.
All right, here's the deal, right? Because it's not just the Big Ten, because they had a pretty good. I've been following them because
Yeah.
Ron Harper's son went there, right? And
Right.
Ron is a Jersey
They miss
guy.
him, by the way.
Right, and so you sit here. The problem is these other tournaments, these automatic qualifiers, and these playing tournaments. I mean, not playing tournament, but the conference tournaments. Upsets now shake the board up.
Sure.
So
It
somebody
does.
always gets bumped out of it because of those scenarios.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
can't put yourself in those scenarios.
I know they did it to themselves.
I was having this conversation with Phil Hubbard last night. He said, you get criticized when you play a soft schedule,
Yeah.
preseason schedule, non-conference schedule, and then you get burned at the end because you didn't make the tournament, right? And this is where playing everybody and anybody can get you burned, because what happens is you're taking losses against people that you didn't need to take losses. I didn't need to lose to Carolina. I
Right.
didn't need to lose to
But
this
should
team.
you win those games?
But if you win those games,
Yeah.
it's a plus side.
Rutgers lost, I think, their second to last Big Ten game on the road. It was I think it was Minnesota.
No, they lost to Maryland. Was it Maryland?
No,
it wasn't Maryland. It
They
was
lost on the last
Oh, yes,
sequence.
yes.
They
That was
took
Minnesota.
10 minutes.
That was Minnesota.
Minnesota had
That's Minnesota.
one
Right.
win in the conference.
That was a terrible loss.
And it was an awful loss. First of all, they let Minnesota bring the ball up
Yeah,
to
it's Minnesota.
midcourt
Minnesota.
with no pressure whatsoever. There was 2.5 seconds left.
Yeah.
They get a 3, which they looked at for 10 minutes to see if his foot was out of bounds or not. I will say this: Rutgers was screwed out of a win earlier this year when Ohio State hit a 3 against them, and their foot was out of bounds.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the Big Ten officials came out the next day and said, "We apologize, we blew it."
But
that
in the
should have
end,
been
We got
another
our
win.
first trade of the morning real quick.
Okay,
Got our
what is
first
it?
trade, ladies and gentlemen. From Ian Rappaport, the Patriots are trading tight end Jonnu Smith to the Falcons as a former big-ticket free agent heads elsewhere and creates cap space for New England.
Yeah, that doesn't do much for me. Does anything for
Man,
you guys?
give me back. Interrupt.
I'm just letting you guys know.
No, keep us
We're gonna
posted.
break
Interrupt
it.
the broadcast when we got
Yeah.
quality ones.
The other thing that really struck me about this
Right?
year's
I want quality.
bracket,
Give me your big names.
Give me names.
this is the first time ever that a preseason number 1 did not make the field.
North Carolina, right?
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Man,
And they lied.
I
They said they
don't
weren't
know
gonna
what's
go to
going
the
to happen
NIT.
to Hubert Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2
and that's
years,
what he-
Hubert's gone from winning an NCAA championship
Yeah.
to getting bounced, to not even making the tournament
Yeah.
and turning down an NIT bid.
Because they're going to tell you, they just said they weren't Huber's recruits.
No. By the way,
there was Roy Williams joints.
one thing I'll say, last thing on Rutgers is, if you put yourself on that bubble, I don't care if you don't.
You're
make it.
absolutely right. I
Because-
kept telling Corey, I'm like, they've done this to themselves.
That's right, and you weren't going to win the championship anyway.
No, but
If
it
you
would have
did.
been fun to get in,
Sure,
win a
of
game or
course.
two.
Yeah.
You
That's
never
all
know.
here. If you've ever been in a tournament, it's always good to be in there.
It's better to be
But
there than home.
again, you put yourself, you're a victim of circumstance, because now it's out of your hands. It's into these other tournaments. Now you're
Absolutely.
expecting ABC school to run away with this conference tournament, right?
Right.
Right.
They
Well-
get blasted in the quarterfinal, and it's like,
We'll talk more
Local.
about
Do you want to
the,
do our bracket stuff right now? We just want to get it out.
Yeah, let's
You
knock
want
it
to?
out.
Yeah,
Well,
because
let's
the
give-
NFL stuff
let's
is going
do
to
it.
come fast
Let's
and
give some
furious
kudos
at
to
some
some of
point.
the local schools that made it. Kent State.
Kent is in.
The Cleveland State women.
Cleveland State women
Yeah.
also made the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 2
They're
local
playing
Northeast
Villanova, the
Ohio's.
Cleveland State women.
well, they've got their hands full with Maddie Seacrest. But
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, Cleveland State has been playing good in the Horizon all year long.
Where's Maryland? What seed? Where
Number
are they?
2.
Number two.
Number 2 seed.
And who do they get? First round.
They're going to play Holy Cross in the first round. And
All right.
you move on that, you'll play the winner. First of all, Maryland is in the toughest freaking bracket
Are they really?
out there. So this is the
Who's the one in their bracket?
South Carolina. Oh. So, but hold on. So I have to explain people who's in this bracket, right? So in this bracket, Greenville, South Carolina, number 1. You've got South Carolina, who's the number 1 overall team in the country.
Yeah.
But they loaded up with four former NCAA champions.
Wow.
Maryland, Notre Dame, UCLA, and Arizona. And this is all in the last 10 years.
Right.
10, 11 years. So in this setup here, it's funny. You remember how they used to do Jerry Tarkanian?
Oh, yeah.
Because
he sued the NCAA. They'd make him a 9 and put him in the bracket that he had no chance to
when
get
the
out.
Rebels running wild.
Yeah.
So he had to run the whole table to run the table.
He'd go 32-4 and get a 6 seed.
Right. So now, Carolina, I think about this. You go look back at these brackets, right? So South Carolina, Dawn State's doing an excellent job in South Carolina.
Killing it.
But, you know, they have problems sometimes in the NCAA when somebody seems that they're getting more juice than you need to. Right?
Oh, so they're making it tough on Dawn.
So we're going to pull you back a little bit.
I got it.
So now we send Maryland, well coached, former NCAA winner. Arizona, who won the thing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? We'll send you that way. Notre Dame, who won it, what, three or 4 years
Been
ago.
longer than that, but yeah.
Yeah, send it that way to you, right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to send you UCLA, who won it.
That's a tough path to the
That's
Final
a tough
Four.
They trying to get you up out of here.
I mean, if they get to the Final Four, they're going to earn it.
Even if you get to the Final Four, you're going to be
So
damaged.
McNuggets is our college hoops guy on
Yes.
the men's side. I know you studied the bracket. What are the biggest? To me, the biggest takeaway was North Carolina misses the field, and I also looked at some of the other traditional blue bloods. Duke and Kentucky are like 5 and 6 seeds. It's this NIL thing. I don't know long term what impact it's going to have on basketball, but to me, the fact that you've got North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, all not like in the top 4 seeds. Michigan State's a 7. What's your takeaway from this year's bracket?
I don't really think it has anything to do with NIL. It's
You
just
don't?
college basketball as a whole is down.
It's hard
a lot
to
of the
predict.
guys, one and done, they go. You have like Duke starts 4 freshmen and a junior.
Yeah.
And those freshmen come in. Duke's actually won 9 in a row. They're one of the teams I'm very high on.
Really?
As a team that can make a run in the tournament here as a
so do I.
5 seed. But overall, I mean, look at North Carolina. They went on a run as an 8 seed last year.
Right.
They got hot at the right time. Everyone comes back to do it again. Were they really as good as the number 1 seed, or were they an 8 seed that got hot at the right time last year? That's the beauty
Yeah.
of March Madness.
Right,
So I
you
broke
never
this
know.
down before we give our picks into 3 categories of stuff that I want to discuss between us.
Right.
And then we're going to make our final 4 picks. I came into teams that I think are overrated. I think teams that can be Cinderella teams, and then I got some potential first-round upsets to mark on your bracket. So we're going to start with the overrated teams here in the regions. And we're going to start with Purdue. Now, they deserve the 1 seed. They're not overrated in terms of seeding, but this is a team I do not think has the makings to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament for 2 reasons. 1, point guard play wins in March Madness. Purdue starts 2 freshmen in the backcourt who struggle late to close out Penn State in the Big Ten tournament. Eddie, their big man, is unreal, but he's prone to getting in foul trouble. And most importantly, the Big Ten beat up on each other. I'm not quite sure if any Big Ten is elite, Big Ten team is elite, or if that whole conference is pretty run-of-the-mill. Purdue is the best of the middle teams. St. Mary's is a 5 seed. Best defense in America, number 5 in points per game against, but they play super slow. They take a ton of threes. 3-point shooting teams in the tournament are always shaky to pick on to go make a deep run. They also got absolutely smoked by Gonzaga. Xavier, once again, a high-scoring team that relies 40% of their shots come from beyond the arc.
Wow.
That scares me as a team in the tournament. You have one
Yeah,
off shooting night.
you
It
can
doesn't
live by
matter.
that, but you can also
live
die
and you die
by
by
it.
the 3.
Yeah.
So that's a team I don't feel good about. And you just mentioned Kentucky. When they're good, they can beat anybody. When they're bad, they will literally lose to anybody. And they don't have a true point guard. They give 0 production off the bench. If one of their 5 starters isn't on, you're essentially playing 4 on 5 because they only play 5 guys.
Yeah.
That's a
And if you don't have a point guard in the tournament, you're not making a
tough,
run.
yeah.
You're just not.
McNuggets, this is what irks me about college basketball a little bit, is I believe the coaching in college basketball makes good players worse. Because just the style of play that they play is not, it is not, that doesn't translate 1 iota to the league, right? You watch these teams and they pass the ball around the perimeter 12 times and take a shot within 5 or 6 seconds of the shot clock. I don't see no pick and rolls. I don't see the same type action.
Well.
It's just the game itself. People are like, well, why would you be a freshman? If you're a freshman All-American, you stay there 1 year and get the hell out of Dodge. Because by the time you get to be a junior and you still playing there, you're going to get in the league looking like a robot. They're like, you can't play this, son.
Well, you're assuming everybody at that level can coach. They can't. They just can't, right?
A lot of coaches. A lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones.
Wow.
They can't. I'm just telling you. I went to, I had to broadcast a Cleveland Charge game
Right.
Saturday, right? And I would just tell you that the level of talent there was greatly more than I anticipated, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Compared to the college game right now.
Yes.
Better?
They had talented, I mean, these were talented people.
Sure.
Right? You probably didn't get to see them because 1 year they were out of there, right?
Right.
So the NCAA and the NBA have collaborated in a way to undermine both of themselves, right?
Yeah.
But you see, that's the difference between the women's and the guys. You get to follow the women for a number of years. You get to watch them build up.
Sure.
These guys leave after a year. You don't know what they are, right?
Yeah.
You have no affinity toward Kentucky or Ohio State because you're moving.
That's
but
why the style of play is so hard to watch.
But I will tell you that some people are definitely not being developed in this 1-year scenario. They're just trying to get through the year, right? So there's no development going on here, right? And then the product at the end is diminished. To Mike's point, I don't think Purdue can run the table. Purdue has shown its weakness all year. Zach Edey probably going to be one of the top 2 or 3 people drafted in this draft, but the Boilers have really no go-to in-between guy that can just get it done for you.
Rutgers beat Purdue.
Right, so I'm not sold on them. St. Mary's, get out of here. You get bounced early, right? Xavier, you get bounced early,
You
right?
think Xavier's
Now,
got no
Kentucky, now you can say what you want to say about Calipari.
He can coach.
He keeps some people, and you don't know what you're going to get out of them. So he would be one of my, if I'm saying, okay, of all those 4.
So you agree with 3 of the 4?
I said, Kentucky, I got to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
right?
but so what would you consider like a dark horse team? Anything lower than a 4 is what I
We're
consider.
going to get to the next one.
Well, I went back to
Categories.
Bulls theory. I looked at it again. There is a 13-4 seed that I would watch, right? This Iona versus UConn.
Yep.
Yale's.
UConn.
Ricky P.
Right before he leaves for St. John's.
Well, or Georgetown, because now Georgetown is open too, and he's already been linked to that.
Look, Ricky P said over the weekend, I ain't going nowhere that I don't want to live. I'm going to tell you now. And here, he said this other thing, basically in an undermined way, I'm not going to do what I do at Louisville. I'm going where somebody wants me, right? I'm not leaving here. And if I don't have the utmost support,
I mean, in
I'm
St.
not
John
going.
and Georgetown, you've got 2 very livable cities.
Very.
Between New York and Washington. I mean, they're media hubs. If you ever wanted to even springboard that into an even bigger job, that would be a good place to do it, either one of those. Okay, you want to go to your Cinderella?
We got our Cinderella teams next. That's anything over a 4 seed.
Okay, that's what I
That's
always
going to make
consider
it, I think, as a chance to make a deep run. We're going to start with Memphis
I
as
don't
an
think
8
a
seed.
5 seed should be a Cinderella.
I picked 1 5,
right.
8, and 2 7. So hopefully that's enough
Okay.
for you guys here. Memphis, though, is in the same region as Purdue. I think they end up beating Purdue for 2 reasons. 1, a dude named Kendrick Davis.
Yeah.
22 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, the AAC player of the game at 31 points in the title game over Houston. He's a certified star. And when you play a team like Purdue, you need a big man to match up with Edey. Well, they have DeAndre Williams, who's 6'10", averages 18 and 12 a game.
Right.
He's not 7'4" like Edey, but he ain't a scrub either, and you need someone to help negate them. I really like Memphis. Duke, okay, you want to say they're maybe not a Cinderella? I'll give you that, but they have won 9 in a row.
Yeah, I've never heard Duke and Cinderella in
they
the same
can't be-
sentence ever.
But
I know we just said anybody lower than
I
a
just
4.
think a 4-5 game is a toss-up. So if a 4 is not a Cinderella, a 5 should
And
be.
Fine.
besides, how many McDonald's All-Americans do
Yeah,
they
I mean,
still
it's
have
Duke.
on that
I-
roster?
that's-
They have 5 on the roster. I'm just
Okay,
saying,
so I don't know how in the hell they can be considered a Cinderella, but you're right.
as a seed, they are a 5 seed. I
Gotcha.
put them in the Cinderella
They've got to
category.
be a 4 and a 3,
4-1.
4 to 1 to get to the
Elite
get to
Eight.
the Elite 8. That's
Yeah.
a tough road.
It's a tough road. Since they moved Caden Proctor to the 1 and they put Roach at the 2, Proctor's 6'5", Roach is only 5'11", but they swapped their 2 roles. They've won 10 of 11. They've scored over 80 points 5 times in that
Wow.
stretch and held teams under 63 times, so they can do it on both
Do you
ends.
think Coach K made that move?
No, I really like Shire. I think he's going to be a good coach.
Yeah, but you don't think Coach K might have picked up the phone and said
Shadow commissioner?
Yes.
Yeah, he might be.
I-
He's definitely getting some
that
advice.
reeks
He'd
of something
be-
Coach K would have done?
You'd be so if you weren't. Missouri and A&M, 2 7 seeds. I'll start with Missouri before I get to A&M, who I think is the most underseeded team in the tournament. But
Yeah,
Missouri,
A&M got screwed.
battle tested.
The
The
guy
thing about
got hurt.
Missouri, they are all between 6'4" and 6'9", their
Yeah.
whole lineup, which creates matchup problems.
Right.
And they're battle tested in the SEC. And more importantly, they shoot 81% from the free throw line as a team. In March, make your free throws.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
That makes a difference in close games. Missouri
81%
battle tested,
as a team.
makes their
That's
free throws.
crazy.
And then A&M, the most underseeded team.
What happened to them?
So 2 things. They played nobody non-conference.
Right.
The worst
But
non-conference schedule
still,
in the
if
country.
you get through the SEC the way
And
they
Jay,
did,
last year, if you remember, they were the first team out.
you're not. Yeah,
And Buzz made some comments
yeah, but you know
that
what?
people have been reporting that the NCAA Tournament Committee was holding on to. It's ludicrous they're a 7 seed.
That's
You want
like
to hear
the
the
bad
net
umpire
rankings?
call we're going to show
Yes.
in just a little bit.
You want to hear the net rankings of the 4 7 seeds?
Yes, because Northwestern got screwed too. I thought.
A&M's net ranking 19. The
Okay.
other 4 7 seeds,
Yes.
33, 39, 43.
Where was Northwestern?
Either 33, 39,
I think
or
they had to be
43.
33. I mean, weren't they the runner-up in the Big Ten?
No, Penn State was.
No.
In the tournament.
No, regular season.
No.
Oh, I'm not 100% on. I can tell you
Yeah, I
right
think
now. I
they
have it
finished
open
second.
here.
I think they finished second in the
thought they
Big
finished
Ten. I think
They
A&M
were
finished
second in the Big Ten.
And I'm sorry, just to get if you're a second, And
A&M was second in the
what's
SEC
working
too.
against-
I know.
but
So
what-
you've got
but-
the second team in the second place team in the SEC and the second place team in the Big Ten,
Right.
two of the best conferences in the game. Both got
But
7
what's
seeds.
working against Northwestern is the legend and aura of Northwestern.
Well,
Yeah,
and
but
here's
it
the
didn't
one.
help
was
North
funny.
Carolina get in.
That's what's working against
It didn't
Northwestern.
help North Carolina get in.
Well,
Here's
they
the one
did
thing
it to themselves.
G. Bush,
They
real quick,
committed
here's the
Harry
one thing
Carey
with
on
A&M.
themselves.
Still Northwestern.
The one thing with A&M that makes them super appealing as a Cinderella candidate, they rebound great. They're the #1 free throw shooting team in the country as far as attempts per game.
Who you on,
Oh,
Texas
attempts.
A&M?
Yeah, they shoot 77%. They average 21 attempts per game. That's
said
#1 in the
Texas A&M?
nation. Very efficient.
Yeah.
And they have Wade Taylor, their point guard, finished runner-up for SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah, A&M.
Good point guard, good defense, good rebounding.
That's
They
the
make their free
formula.
throws.
That's the
Of
formula.
your list,
Yeah.
A&M is the one. The rest of them getting bounced.
Yeah, I like A&M. I picked
Well,
them.
Duke. Let me take that back. Duke is sneaky in the positioning that they have because the way they're seated, they could end up running a little table here, right?
They could.
Yeah, they could.
I'm picking my
It could
team.
be Carolina last year.
I'm picking my teams by colors.
Are you?
Wow, that's
I-
interesting.
yeah.
On your whole bracket?
Yeah, whole bracket.
You get a bracket sheet with just colors.
This is how much I care right here.
So you have totally divorced yourself from the NCAA tournament.
Of course I have.
Wow, why? Because the play's so bad?
I don't know these people. I don't know.
Well,
the
G.
coach.
Bush, you're going to like my
I
upset
don't like
picks
the
then, 'cause if you don't
coaches.
know one of these teams.
Still like the coach.
I don't know anybody. I don't know anyone. I used to know Ray Allen.
Yeah, I used to
and
watch
Kerry
so
Kittle.
much more college
I
basketball.
can't keep up with
Well,
y'all.
go blame the NCAA and the NBA.
Well, now I'm gonna just watch Kent State. Shout out to the man.
Well,
You
G.
know what?
Bush, that leads
When
us right into
when
my
the
first
Big
round
East tournament-
upsets.
All right,
when
there
the
we
Big
go.
East Conference died,
Yeah.
the NCAA tournament died.
No,
There's a
no,
lot of correlation to that.
I think it would.
That was the heyday of
This
the
is not-
NCAA tournament.
Not fair to the players, but I think college basketball would be a lot better if you had two choices. You either go to the NBA straight out of high school, or you got to play 3 years in college.
Yeah,
The baseball rule.
Yeah,
That's exactly what college baseball
I'd be
does.
fine with that.
that's what it would be.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
I'm fine with that too.
I
All right,
like
we're
this
going
way
to
the
talk first
kids
round
do it.
upsets for you,
This
G.
way,
Bush.
the kids who are studs.
You just saved.
Go.
You just
Shouldn't
saved,
waste time
you
in
saved the
college.
college basketball.
I-
And then for
I-
all the freshmen that develop into superstars, we get to see them for 2 more years.
So look, Jay, I'm seeing those kids that he's talking about that are left in the lurch.
Yeah.
They're in the G League.
Well,
I
here's
watched-
the other problem.
I
Or they'll go
watched
to
it.
Europe.
And then
Right.
no. I'm gonna tell you, when I went to, they had a nice crowd. It's an affordable ticket. It was a nice crowd. You got to see some quality band. I was like, I could come back to this.
Okay, good.
I
Good.
can come back to this.
All right, Mikey.
All right, what else
We
do you
got
have?
first round upsets, then we're going to give our final 4 picks, then we're talking football the rest of the show.
Okay.
I went to both the MAC semifinal games and the MAC championship this weekend. Was blown away by Kent State. This is not just a homer pick.
That's my 13th
pick.
seed right there.
Sincere Carey, number 3, the guy pictured, is a stud.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
An absolute stud. He was the MAC Player of the Year last year. He was runner-up this year to the point guard on Toledo. Ray J. Dennis, elite name, by the way. Ray J, R-A-Y-J was his
Good.
first name.
Yeah.
Kent State shoots threes well. They start 4 seniors. They're veteran-laden. Their coach is phenomenal. This is a rematch of the 2002 Elite 8 game. And here's the thing with Indiana. Although they are much bigger than Kent State, it's not like Kent State's a small mid-major, and they start 2 freshmen in the backcourt. And once again, obviously more talented. I get hesitant. Freshmen versus seniors, when the lights are the brightest, I think that's a potential upset. We got VCU St. Mary's, 12/5. I talked about St. Mary's earlier. They're slow. VCU, despite not having Shaka Smart, still plays that chaotic brand of basketball. It's havoc. In the tournament setting, give me havoc every time, especially in that 12-5 line, because you know
All the underdogs want
you
havoc.
know one of those is going to hit. I like Providence over Kentucky.
No.
Providence, a veteran-laden team versus Kentucky with freshmen. You can see the common
Brad's
things I
not
look
buying
for.
it.
You
in
like
upset
picks. upperclassmen, don't you?
I do. And with Kentucky, like I said, they could literally beat anyone in the tournament. They lost to some bad SEC teams and got smoked
They lost
in the
some,
SEC
they lost
this
some
year.
out-of-conference games, I think.
So
too.
let-
Teams
so-
A
like
ton
you
of
look at
confidence.
like
And last
that.
one,
Get-
Brad, before
get
you
your
hop
la-
in,
get your last one in here,
Louisiana
so I
over
can kill you.
Tennessee. Tennessee, I thought was going to be one of the teams I had going deep in the tournament. Their point guard, one of their best players, probably their second best players, the Kai Ziegler, tore his ACL in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, that's
He's
good to
out.
death.
He's not playing. He was their best defensive player. He was their point guard.
Yeah.
When you lose that late in the tournament, it's really hard to
Yeah.
adjust and adapt. And Louisiana, a very good team. They have Jordan Brown, their forward, 6'11 junior, averages 19, 9, and 2.
Wow.
Tough to deal with
19,
down
9,
low.
and 2.
Yeah, so give me
Playing
the
at
Cajuns in
Louisiana,
that
though.
one.
Yeah. All right. Very good.
All right, bring your list back up so I could just.
He's going to pick your list
I
apart.
just want to look
I'm
at
going to
it.
pick your potential upsets
All
here.
right, so first of
Brad,
all, I like Kent, right? I'm glad Kent redeemed itself from the fiasco of last year
Right.
with that Akron video, right? So they played themselves right into that tournament, right? I'm proud of them. Proud of the coach. Coach is a great guy, right? He ain't beating Indiana. It ain't happening, right? It's just not happening. It's not. VCU will take down St. Mary's though. VCU will beat VCU got a nice little program. I watched them play Dayton yesterday.
Yeah.
They got a nice little thing going on here. Now Kentucky, I keep telling you, Calipari.
They lost to St. Francis last year, just a reminder.
That's all right. Don't worry about that.
Providence back in it.
Don't worry about it. I'm talking about last year.
The ghost of God, Sham God, is coming back.
Now, that Louisiana, I think Tennessee just going to beat Louisiana just from the SEC. I don't care without the point guard. I don't know how far they're going, but I don't see Louisiana taking down Tennessee. But I will tell you what, that Kent taking down IU.
Why ain't it happening? Why ain't going down?
Because you got Trace Jackson Davis, who's down on the block, right? They got Indiana has a formidable front line.
Very talented.
The backcourt with the Shafino is the point guard, as a freshman, had a pretty good year, right? They're not bad. The thing that Indiana does not have, that Indiana typically has, is outside shooting. It's remarkable to me that they can't shoot the ball.
Well,
I've never seen it
that could be
before.
the death of the tournament.
That Trace Jackson Davis on that block, he is a load down there.
And
a load.
And it's tough for MAC schools to match up with someone like that.
And by the way, Indiana still got Calbert Cheney.
He's in year 12 now.
Calbert Cheney's in year 35.
Worst place in place.
You want to do your Final Four?
Game.
I didn't even
Seats
pick
so
up my
tight,
Final
you can't even
Four.
fit in
I
there
didn't pick
now.
up my full bracket yet.
Brad, I think Brad has his, and then we'll give winners, and then we will move on for football.
Okay.
My Final Four, I got Bama, the overall #1 seed. I think their region's pretty easy. Call me a homer, whatever. I don't like Duke, but I'm picking Duke to make the Final Four of that region. I don't trust Purdue. I don't trust Marquette, and I do think Duke's getting hot. Houston, I have as the 1 seed out of the Midwest. I'm taking UCLA, the 2 seed out of the West region. So I have a 1, 2 1s, a 5, and a 2.
UCLA,
I like Houston.
they always flank.
They don't look bad, though. They don't look bad.
Here's my thing.
They
with
never
Houston
look
this
bad.
year.
They're always a 2 seed, and they always get bounced.
Who, Houston?
UCLA.
Oh, UCLA. Yeah.
Didn't they win with Tyus Edney back in the day?
Well, yeah, 100 years ago.
I just don't love that. You can talk me into a couple different teams. Kansas is the 1. I want to pick 3 1s. I think UCLA is the 2.
Yeah,
I
because
like
then
the
you're
most.
called Mr. Chalk.
Yeah. But I am picking Houston to win it all. In Houston.
Really?
Final Four's in Houston.
Yeah,
Jim
I
Nance
know.
went to Houston on his Final Four call. So give me the Cougars in nostalgic fashion for Jim Nance over Alabama.
All right.
She's gonna take 5.
You're
Slimmer
a
Jimmer.
Houston, and you're just a Texas homer.
Yeah,
By the
he
way,
is.
this from Rob Domofsky, who covers the Packers. We're an hour away from the start of free agent negotiating period. I'm told neither the Packers nor the Jets know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
They've been talking about that all
I've
morning.
had so much. I have Aaron Rodgers overload.
Hey, before you say anything, Rogers, make your picks real quick so we can end the clip and we'll talk all football.
All right.
Brad, who you got? Jay, who you got?
I got Bama, Marquette, Houston, and UCLA in the Final Four. And I got Bama winning the whole thing. I ain't sold on Houston at all.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not sold on any of the #1 seeds. I haven't picked out my full bracket yet.
Bama's not bad.
No, Bama's not bad, but I just don't. I don't think they can win the whole thing.
I only worry about the pressure on Bama when this thing get turned up. They're gonna turn this heat up on them.
No, I know. I do
this
like.
stuff.
If I was to pick any of the 1 seeds, I would pick Kansas, just because I trust the coach. Outside of that, the only thing to me that really stood out were the 2 7s that got screwed.
Yeah.
I just, if you finish second in the SEC and the Big Ten, you're worthy of more than a 7.
Yeah, but
you just are.
Yeah, I get you. I give you that. I give you that. I give you
really stood out to me. The other thing, as I mentioned, Kentucky and Duke being a 7 and a 6 seed. 6 for Kentucky. I think Duke is a 7. Yeah. That's a shocker. But I always say this, and I'm going to say it again this year. Never, ever, ever bet against Tom Izzo in the month of March. They're a 7. They're a sneaky 7. I don't think they have the roster or the team that can do it, but I think they have the coach that can galvanize them and get them. I look at their run and who they have to get past. I think they can get past Marquette. I do. I think they can beat Marquette.
Izzo can coach. The problem is Izzo has very limited to work with.
I know he does
very
this year.
limited.
It's not a
this
typical.
This is like I've never seen a team in Michigan
I
State
haven't
look
either.
like.
When I've watched them, I don't recognize them. But you know what? I used to dismiss them all the time based on what I saw in the regular season. And every time I would do it, Izzo's in the Final Four. Izzo makes it.
But
to
he
the
always
Elite
has some players. But now I just don't know.
Guys, this from Schefter. When the negotiating window for free agency opens, The Texans and Raiders are expected to pursue Jimmy Garoppolo. Jets could also get in, but they're in wait-and-see mode right now.
Jimmy G.
I heard he wants 25 mil.
Well, he better not want 25 mil.
I mean, probably
It's a
get
quarterback.
It's a quarterback.
I know, but that's just below top-tier quarterback money. Is he just below a top-tier quarterback?
I don't think so.
No.
Do you
I
think
don't
Baker
either.
gets 20 mil then this summer?
No. No
But
way.
Daniel Jones got
When Baker's going to probably go to the Buccaneers. When that happens, this will be the 4th team on his resume in a 12-month period.
Yeah.
Think about that.
But Daniel Jones
Daniel
if
Jo-
Daniel Jones gets 40, is it crazy for
Well,
Jimmy
I
G
thought
to
it was
get
crazy that
25?
Daniel
Nah.
Jones got 40.
Jimmy
How much did Derek Carr get per year?
37.5
I mean,
or whatever
Jimmy
it
G
is.
is
I think
getting
Jimmy G
25.
at 25 million. Listen, I think they're all overpaid outside of the
yeah.
stars. But considering where the market is for quarterbacks, I don't think 25 is crazy for him.
I don't care who. One thing I'm going to say in this free agent, you're not going to hear G. Bush say somebody overpaid. I don't care what they get.
Yeah.
The market is the market.
In the end, though, like, I don't understand these teams. Like, if you're spending that money on mediocre quarterbacks, what's the point? Like, whoever signs Jimmy Garoppolo, that team's not winning the Super Bowl. If Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't win a Super Bowl with the 49ers, he ain't winning it somewhere else.
Came damn close.
Can we get to
with
this?
the Niners.
What is Baltimore? What is going on in Baltimore?
Baltimore's playing a real risky game of chicken.
This is a mess.
I don't think there's any risk because they could match anything that any team.
Let me tell you
I
something.
think their play was the smart play.
It was.
But there is some risk involved too.
But the
Well,
risk
here,
is him being pissed at the team.
Let's
If-
get out the
The
risk.
risk is him saying, "I'm not playing."
Let's get out the risk. Why is this even going on with a former MVP? This is some nonsense.
Because he's not. He's
He's
a risky play.
Yeah,
you can't guarantee. I'm not
so
guaranteeing a guy.
he's so risky that he can't even get an offer.
No, it's not that. I think, Bull, you're right.
Yeah.
The thing that the teams are looking at this point, over performance, is availability. And there is real reason for concern
So if you worry about
his long-term availability.
He hasn't
If you
played
worried
that well.
if you worried about availability, then even talk to me about no Garoppolo there, because he ain't never available.
No,
Yeah, but
that's why
Garoppolo's
I
not.
think he's overpaid.
Garoppolo's not going to cost $250 million.
Yeah, if you tell me Garoppolo on $25 million, it's the same thing, right?
No, it's that for 10 years.
Man.
You're not going to pay
He
Jimmy
ain't gonna
Garoppolo.
get 250. He can't even get above 130.
Who?
Lamar.
Well, the risk is if a team matches the Ravens' offer, they cannot talk to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an agent.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he got an agent.
No, he doesn't.
It's his mother.
Yeah, well, teams would have to
don't
go
like
into the
that.
free agency period
Yeah.
without knowing if they have a deal with them or not. That's incredible risk.
Let me tell you what the NFL does not like. They do not like change, right? So him negotiating with his mama is not helping the situation, because
Agreed.
once you do that,
Probably
you open
not.
the door.
Well,
to,
there's other players
No.
that
If
do
you
their
open
own
the door to that, then they open the door to every time Dick and Harry coming in here, and they don't want to do that.
Listen,
It's bucking the system, and
As
you're right.
much
The
as
NFL does not
as
like
much
that.
as I like Lamar, there's no way I would want to guarantee him $250 million when he's been hurt the last 2 years.
He can't even get 180 guarantee.
Well, at
You
this
can't get
point,
Kyler
we don't
Murray
know-
money?
at
We
this
don't know
point,
what
we
the
don't
Ravens
know.
have
Yeah,
offered.
at this point, we don't know what their offer
They
is.
said it was
Yeah.
130.
Well,
Yeah, but that's reports. I mean, I don't know what's true.
And
You
maybe
read
it
off
is
reports
true.
every day.
No, I know, but we don't know the money. You never know for sure it's exactly true. But even they might have offered him $250 with $130 guaranteed. Like, that's. I mean, to me, if I were him, I'd sign that.
at some point,
Why would you sign that?
Because nobody's going to guarantee him that money, I don't think.
Man, you
he's
crazy.
asking for. You know what the league is basically saying? They're saying to the Browns and to the Haslams,
Yeah, screw you.
you may think you just set a new bar, but
Yeah.
you did not.
Well, I'm using Watson as the outlier. Let's take him off the table.
Well,
Put him
you
over the
can't.
side
He's
here.
the elephant
Well,
in the
but
room.
No. But here, I'm in my setup. I'm taking Watson's contract off the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bring him with those others. They're not even close to the others.
Yes. What
Well,
do you mean?
no, they
the others?
are.
What others? What are you talking about?
Well,
What
if you
others?
look at Mahomes' deal, Allen's
Murray,
deal,
all those guys
Yeah.
that got this
Well, but-
money, right? He's
well,
not even close
here's
to
the
that.
problem. Jackson now wants guaranteed
Yeah, he
money.
won't guarantee money.
And that's because the Browns gave it to Deshaun Watson. So I don't blame Jackson for wanting it.
How much is Murray getting? Can somebody tell me how much Kyler Murray signed
I don't know what his guarantee was.
Guaranteed or just money?
Guaranteed.
Give me 1 sec.
I think it was,
Yeah.
wasn't it 6?
Like, he should get more than Kyler Murray.
Yes. I also thought the Cardinals drastically
but the
overpaid
Cardinals
for Kyler Murray.
made a stupid move.
I thought
honestly.
they did. I didn't like it at the time. I like it even less when it came out that he had a clause in there that he had to do homework.
And I would say
Kyler Murray's contract was for 5 years, $230 million. Or $230.5 million, 160 guaranteed.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was 160 guaranteed.
So there's no way.
Also,
I'm
real
taking,
quick, if anyone cares, the Falcons gave Chris Lindstrom a 5-year, $105 million contract extension. He was one of the highest-rated guards in football last year.
I didn't even know who he was.
Go make your point.
So my point is, there's no way I'm signing less for what Kyler Murray got. I'd also go to the negotiation table and I figure out how much Josh Allen got. Josh Allen runs just as much as Lamar Jackson. He's the only guy on the offense. They put their whole offense around him.
He is a different body, though.
Yeah, he's a different body type, but I could argue I got a different resume to his. Mine look a little different. He ain't even been where I've been at.
Well, no, that's not true
he's
because
won more
Josh
playoff
Allen's had
games than
playoff
no.
success.
But I'm talking about he ain't got the resume. I got an MVP.
Yeah, but that was 4 years ago.
Hold
at
on,
this point.
Bull,
It was 4 years ago.
Bull, you cannot diminish.
Kyler Murray has more guaranteed money than Josh Allen.
So
Kyler
I'm
Murray.
definitely not going less. You can't minimize an
can't.
MVP. You just can't. It's too hard to win them
I
to
know,
say
but
they don't
guys,
count.
to Bull's point about the length, and I know if is a small word with a big meaning, but if Carson Wentz didn't get hurt in week 13 or whatever it was, he's got an MVP.
But
and that dude can't get a job.
But here's the thing: Lamar Jackson could have played.
Here,
Which
Carson-
might be a strike,
But guess what? He was like, I'm not going out there without no guarantee.
That might be a strike against
and that
him.
was his choice. And if he doesn't want to sign for less than Kyler Murray, I don't blame him. I'm just not sure anybody's going to pay him that.
Well, the problem is not that they're not going to pay him, Bull. The problem is why are we even having this discussion? Because he should get paid. If you're just looking at the market of what's out there and what he's done,
he wants a guaranteed contract. He's not going to get that.
Everybody wants a guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
There's a number. You ain't even got to the baseline number yet, right? That's the idiocy.
And
of
you're
this.
asking why, and in my opinion, it's because of the risk of injury. It's the kind of ball he plays that has already led him to having injuries, and further injuries are only going to diminish his play even more than we've seen it fall back. That's why, in my view.
He hasn't played that well the last 2 years.
So he's worth half of everybody else.
What I would
not
do,
half. In my view, more.
Here's what he should do. If he's sticking to his guns, screw it. I ain't playing.
No,
That's an option, and you know what? Don't take that off the table.
I ain't playing. And so you can. And here's a great thing about public.
Just remember how that's worked out for other guys.
But he's a quarterback. That's different, though.
No, it is. But he's remember.
That's different.
Remember when Bell decided? When Le'Veon Bell decided, you know what? I don't need this.
But that's a running back. You can get a running back anywhere.
The one thing about that league is this:
Lamar's part running back.
as opposed to the other professional sports league, the NFL has shown you they will cut their nose off to spite their face.
They absolutely
don't
will.
care.
They've done it in the past.
They do not care.
I don't think him not playing is a good option.
It is an option, though.
It is definitely an option. I just don't.
Jay, would you agree? Won't move a needle at all for them.
Well,
we've seen it before.
We're moving on.
The Ravens are used to winning. Let them go 4-something, and he's sitting on the sideline.
I just don't think that's going to happen.
I think their defense is good enough, and I think
they're going to stink without him.
Terrible.
Well, their defense is legit. Bull. I mean, the Bengals saw it in the playoff game.
Yeah,
the Bengals could not move the football against that defense.
They've got free agents. They got free agents now, too.
You know what, though? Baltimore's one of those teams that always seems to figure it out, despite the fact it drives me nuts.
I don't know.
Let them try it out.
I don't know. I think part of the reason the Bengals struggled in that game is because they had just lost some of their offensive linemen, and it was their first game adjusting to a new offensive line. I think their defense is good, but I don't think it's special. I really don't. We'll see.
I do.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I think
their offense without him is the worst in the league. It's the worst in the league.
Well, it was awfully bad last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. They've got no pieces.
This is not the Ray Lewis Ravens. They're good on defense. They're really good.
Now, by the way, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I almost want to leave. I want to go to offense that's going to give me help.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing. If he does have to play on this non-exclusive or whatever it's called, the exclusive franchise tag, if he ends up coming back for that,
yeah,
he's more likely than not to have a subpar year by his standards.
Honestly,
because of the pieces that he has around him.
That's right. Honestly, if I'm the Jets, forget Brett Favre. Forget Aaron Rodgers. I'm going after Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
Because what has Aaron Rodgers got? 1 good year left, maybe. I mean,
what's the cost if they do it? They two first
first round.
So
Minimum
there's 2
2
ways they
first
could.
rounders.
Well, there's 2 options here.
They're not doing that.
The Jets, in theory, could just sign him to a contract, and if
No,
the
they
Ravens
could beat the Ravens' offer.
No. How it works is the
go ahead.
Jets can offer him an offer sheet,
Right.
Yeah.
and then the Ravens
Have a right to match it.
to
match
decide
it.
whether they want to match or not. However, the Ravens could just do a trade with the Jets.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the Jets would have to figure out a contract with him.
Which would likely be in place before they ever
Right.
get a trade.
You're not making that trade
it's
unless
too
you've
risky.
already talked to him.
Yeah.
My
But
bad.
that's what I think the Jets should do.
My bad. I was tripping. I was tripping real hard. I don't give a damn about the Ravens. Listen, Lamar Jackson, go sit out 10 games. I don't care.
I don't either.
And your organization.
I want the Ravens to get screwed.
I want y'all to be terrible, way worse than we was for 30 years.
Yes,
I
screw it up.
want your people to have to revert to drinking themselves into a stupor because y'all not good no more. You took our team, kick rocks.
I'm great with that too. Listen,
Absolutely.
I hope whatever happens, I hope it's the worst.
Get outta
scenario for the
here.
Ravens.
I hope Lamar goes somewhere else and kills it. Hopefully the NFC.
Now, what we can't have happen is Baker Mayfield go to the Ravens and have them be good. We can't have that.
I'm not worried about
Does
that.
everybody agree with that?
Hey, listen, I'll pay half his salary to go play with Baker. Let me see Baker twice a year.
Can you imagine?
I got 20.
He's likely going to go with the Buccaneers, are the big front runner, and he'll compete with Kyle Trask for the starting job.
I mean, they've gone from Tom Brady
to Kyle Trask.
to a Baker Mayfield Kyle Trask competition.
What's
How about
crazy is it would be his 4th roster in 12 months.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
just think if he
That's
would've
crazy.
took-
That's
no.
crazy.
Just think if he would have took that $30 billion.
It's just a sit down.
He could have took that
that?
30.
Who, Baker? I don't
Yeah.
buy that. I don't buy that was actually there, but who knows?
What do you think the odds
I don't
are
think
that
it was
Baker
30, but I think
lands
it was
up
close.
in Tampa Bay this year? And I wonder if they're already on BetJack because right now BetJack is
They are.
live. Hey, UCSS fans, looking for the ultimate sportsbook? Sports betting is now live in Ohio. Download the BetJack app today so you can have skin in every game, anywhere, anytime.
You're lying. I
BetJack,
am
it
going to
is
the Ravens.
Ohio sportsbook.
By the way, really quickly on the sportsbook thing, I was talking to Shane Bieber about the Cy Young odds.
Okay.
And I said, "Have you peeked?" He goes, "No, where am I?" He really wanted to know where he was in the American League Cy Young odds. And I said, "You opened at 9th on the line that I saw." But my producer photographer looked it up real quick during the interview and he said, "Oh, you're up to 6th." He was excited about that. Like, he's really paying attention to what the odds are and what the line
Betting
is
has
on 'em.
infiltrated everything.
It
It's
really
everything.
has. I mean, it really has. Baseball, to think of that baseball player is talking about odds of him winning a Cy Young Award when Pete Rose is out of the Hall of Fame forever, or at least until he's dead.
Again, different story. He bet on the game.
He did, but now
They betting on
baseball's
anything.
embracing it.
Did
I've
you tell
always
Shane
felt
Bieber
my thought on Pete Rose, by the way, has always been banned from the sport, but should be eligible for the Hall.
Yeah,
Can't let him
I
manage
think
again.
ban from the sport is really hard.
Did you
I
tell
just don't think
Shane,
he could be mad. He can't let him
No,
manage again.
that ship has sailed. No one's
Yeah.
going to hire him as a manager, but
did you tell Bieber he could get jumped up to 5th if he had 2 Built Bars every morning for breakfast?
No.
Because with 15
should've.
grams
Why
of
don't you tell
protein,
I should've.
Built Bar is the #1 sports bar, protein bar, whatever you want to call them, of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports
Bad
Show.
job on me.
Use promo code LOCKEDON15 at Built.com for 15% off. All the Guardians are allegedly eating them. All the Browns are apparently eating them. All the
it's a
Cavs.
great midday snack.
Yeah, it's
like
a
if
great
you're
midday
hungry and,
snack.
and you're going to miss a meal, I like to keep 4 or 5 of them in my bag because if things get busy and I can't get to lunch, you eat one of those and it's a
you
nice
go.
meal supplement.
And
Like
one
you feel
last
full
thing.
until you can do dinner.
The second hour of this show, as always, is brought to us by Colleague Racing. But today's a little different. It's brought to us by Colleague Racing and PCC Airfoils because we're just going to be reading tweets left and right on all the breaking
what we
news.
do.
So
Right.
before we get into that, let me just remind you guys that PCC Airfoils is the #1 airfoil manufacturer,
the
not
biggest
just in
line
Northeast
on Baker
Ohio,
Mayfield.
but in the world. They have locations in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva that are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and the signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more.
Would it be funny if we didn't get no tweets? It was just dry the whole second hour.
Oh, it's going to be No, there's going to be fireworks.
Yeah, we can love.
It
We're
would be
talking.
funny.
We're
Dry
talking,
turkey.
We're talking
Hey,
NCAA
we've
basketball.
got 5 minutes to show the worst call. Well, what some might think is the worst call.
Oh, yeah, we got to show this,
in
Mike.
Major League, or not Major League Baseball, in baseball history. It happened in a college game
Yeah.
over the weekend, and it was a pretty damn bad call.
Okay.
There were 2 of them. There was a bad call on strike 2, And
That was just a normal bad call.
that was a bad call.
Yeah.
But the strike 3 call to end the game, it was Mississippi
flat
Valley
cheating.
State
Yeah.
was losing to New Orleans. Now, this is a classic example of why you don't show up an umpire, because an umpire always has the last word. So that's low and out, no question. That's and the
Player
hitter
got pissed.
jumps up and down. He's telling him that wasn't even close. So the umpire says, "All right, get back in there. Watch strike 3." Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Whoa.
The umpire's been
Oh, you didn't see
suspended
this?
indefinitely.
Whoa.
There's not a better angle, G, for the record. This is the only video of this.
I will say this: there was a behind the plate angle that they roll in later.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying
And
this
that-
is the one
and
clip.
here,
Yeah.
This
let-
make
let-
brothers look
let-
bad.
let us just say this.
Really?
This is the last day he's umpiring.
It most likely is.
It's
Yeah,
done.
he's done.
You're done.
The conference did not release his name.
Really?
All they said was he's suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
You could
No, release his name.
now watch this.
Release
this
it.
is this is strike 3 to end the game.
I,
That guy's a jackass. This guy, look, you know what? It's people like that, man.
I know.
These guys piss me off, man. You be making your mama should be mad at you. You wasn't raised like that. You gonna do that and walk off the field, and then somebody will say, "You never walk up on a referee." I hope your tires was flat when you got to the parking lot.
You know what I would do too? I mean, I think I would withhold his paycheck.
You
if I'm the
suck it.
conference.
Oh, yeah.
I can't pay that guy. For
no.
that.
Welcome
You
to the
essentially
workforce.
cheated
Let me
on
say,
that
let me
last
say,
one.
and that's not a common occurrence in professional sports referee. But you do have some people out here that are very vindictive. Just they are, and they will hold it
now,
against you.
This one jumps out because it ended the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, by the way, the next day those same two teams played, and the team that lost on that call ended up losing the next day like 31-7.
Got smoked.
They just gave up like 9 home runs. I think they just said, you know what, it doesn't matter if we play hard or not. The umps are going to take it from us.
Right.
But that one stands out because it was the last call of the game. But I will tell you flat out, and Bull, you've seen this, and I'm sure in the minor league games that you called, the last thing you can ever do to an umpire is to show him up.
Yeah.
Because they will, not that bad.
Not
but
usually like that.
I've had umpires tell me after an inning, when I've walked to the dugout and I'm going to revisit a call, particularly if it was a big call in the game where it ended up leading to them scoring a run. Like they got a 4th out because you missed strike 3.
Yeah.
I will walk past, as I walk past them in the dugout and say, that run's on you, Blue. That run's on you. That never should have counted.
Yeah.
And you think I'd learn by now because I've been doing it long enough. They invariably will get me back.
Right,
When
which is
there's
wrong.
a close call later in a big spot, there I get no break.
Well,
That's right.
good.
Which shouldn't happen.
It should not
Even
happen.
if you show them up.
You're
like,
right.
You know, I mean,
But
yes.
that was horrible.
But especially in like college, like, you know, a proven veteran major leaguer is going to get away with something like that from an umpire more than a rookie. But in the end, the umpires are human beings like
Guess
the rest
what?
of us.
That's why they're going to you find me in about 10 years when the singularity happy. It'll be Mojo Robot over 4, 5, 6 calling balls and strikes.
Yeah, Mojo.
And you'll be underneath the basement watching games. Hey, you don't want to get tennis out here. You know, tennis got that sport. Boy, them boys is cold.
And they work it quick. I mean, like, there's sometimes 15 seconds between, and it just automatically goes to review. The whole stadium can see it. You see it in real time, and there's no
And there's
it's
no
black and
arguing.
white. The ball hit the line or it didn't.
Yeah.
They even show you the whole graphic.
By the way,
beautiful.
Getting back to football,
You're
you
gonna
know how
get
earlier.
You made tennis a
Go ahead,
verb.
give us
You
that
get
real
tennis
quick.
down
Yeah, I just want to tell us before we are 2 minutes away, under 120 seconds, and our lunch clock hour, as
minutes
always,
away.
is brought to us by Colleague
2 minutes
Racing.
away.
Colleague Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. Real quick question, prediction, one lock for Browns in free agency. Who is the one player you are most certain they will sign?
Today?
Just in
Well,
general.
during the free
in
agent
general.
period.
I'm not going to give you. They will sign a veteran. I won't give a specific name, but they'll sign a veteran
will.
defensive tackle today, 100%.
Okay.
I want
I'll
a
give
name, Bull.
I'm going to give a name.
What's his name? From the Eagles.
Give me Hargrave.
Hargrave.
Hargrave is
No,
a
not
lock.
Hargraves.
Cox.
Cox.
Oh,
Yes.
Fletcher Cox.
Fletcher
Okay.
Cox.
Please put the first name on that, guys. Put the first name on that,
Yeah,
Cox.
please.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way,
Who's your lock?
go ahead. G, you
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead with. I'm gonna just say Fletcher. It was a lot of extra. We
Yeah.
be Fletcher.
Browns are going
I
after
just want
Cox.
to say.
That just doesn't have the right.
It doesn't have the
Cox.
same
No.
ring.
They're
This
going
is
after Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, there it
I'm
is.
not giving any names, but I do want this. If you freed up all this cap space, I just want you to use it wisely, right?
Yeah.
I don't want you to be jumping off the bandwagon just to get
No,
somebody.
but you know what? Every move they've made this offseason, I give 2 thumbs up.
I can't hate.
So far,
They've
so
done
good.
it all.
And by the way, the sorcery magic, the mythical dark water magic that they do to mess with these contracts, all the people out there
I
say,
know.
you know what, we only got $5 to
I
spend.
know. It does catch up at some point, but
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
In
46
September,
million?
when I was screaming about the cap next year,
Yeah.
you were saying the cap is a joke.
Yeah.
There's ways around it. And I said, guys, no, there's not. It's the cap.
Right.
I was wrong.
46
I
million?
was wrong. Now,
Yeah.
eventually, you're going
Eventually,
to pay
at
for it.
some point,
so
you have
there's
to
going
pay
to be a
for it.
reckoning.
Right.
But not
and
now.
Maybe in 2025, we're asking this.
Right.
Can we win 3 games this year?
Right.
Yeah, right.
But for now,
Jay,
what they've done is they've kicked the can down the road, and I'm okay with that.
Jay, is that like the U-
It is
Jay,
officially
is that
noon,
like-
ladies and
Jay, is
gentlemen.
that
The
like
free
US
agency
government
window
budget?
in the NFL
But-
is officially open.
Yeah,
By the way,
let's go.
For Carolina,
the budget.
Mikey said
Yeah.
the report before was that Frank Reich liked
I just saw that new one that he
Just
loves
Stroud.
Anthony
Stroud. Now I'm
Richardson.
seeing, according
Yeah.
to Peter King, Frank Reich likes Anthony Richardson. Which, if they traded up to number
minute,
one
wait a
for
minute.
Anthony Richardson, that's insane. to
Oh,
me.
that's not dumb. Hold on now. If I got C.J. Stroud and Young that are close together, but I don't think they're generational, and they're not going to be ready. They could come in and play, but it ain't going to be big time. Why would I spend money on them when I could go get the big dog?
I don't know.
Because if you get,
I'm not
that's-
trusting a guy who
he's
played 1 year in
he's
college and completed 50% of his
He's
passes.
the Josh Allen. Hey, McNuggets, can we compare his numbers to what Josh Allen did his
There's-
last year at Wyoming?
Yeah, but Josh Allen's touchdown
Yeah.
numbers, I think, were a lot better.
I want to look at him.
But there's
Per
one
field-
big elephant in the room that you're not paying attention to.
What's that?
Dude's 5'10".
Who, Richardson?
No, Anthony Richardson's huge.
Oh, wait, who are we talking about? I thought you
Richardson.
were talking about the Florida quarterback. My bad.
Yeah, Richardson's huge.
He's
How
6'4".
big is he?
Yeah, like
6'4"?
6'4".
He's six.
Who's
He's
the
Cam Newton
5'10"
size.
quarterback?
Bryce
that I'm-
Young, Alabama.
Bryce Young. My bad. My bad.
So if you compare Richardson in the SEC and what he did compared to what he did in the Mountain West at Wyoming, and I say, well, he run a 4.4.
He was terrible, though.
Yeah, but Florida. What was
college.
Florida's record this year? Florida missed a bowl, didn't they?
No, they were like 7-5. They
So
lost
they
their bowl
went to a
game.
bowl but lost.
They were very good.
I'm surprised he came out. I was surprised.
I
when
was too.
He made the decision to come out.
But-
I don't think he's better than C.J. Stroud. I don't.
He might not be today, but tomorrow.
Well, down the road.
So this
who
year,
knows?
real quick, Anthony Richardson, this previous season, his only year as a starter,
Only year. And
threw
Allen
for
played more than 1 year.
2,500 yards,
Not a-
17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and ran for, give me 1 sec to find his rushing numbers. He also ran for 9 touchdowns.
Okay.
So 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Now, I'll pull up Josh Allen. Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Josh Allen started more than 1 year.
I get that.
Yeah, and had bigger numbers too. He threw for more than 2,500.
His completion
last
percentage
year.
also sucked, though.
It did.
Josh Allen's completion percentage
gonna
was
see. It
terrible
He
in
did,
college.
but you know, guys.
Josh Allen, I got his numbers real quick.
Go ahead.
His sophomore season, he threw 28 touchdowns. His junior season, he only threw 16. His completion percentage, just like Richardson, very poor, all things relative. And he ran for 7 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns his last 2 years, 7 and 5.
What did he throw for his last year? 16, you say?
16 touchdowns, yeah.
What about yards?
Only 1,800
I
yards.
thought he was way bigger in numbers.
How much did he play less
He threw for
games that year?
3,200 his sophomore year.
How many games
3,200.
did he play his junior
Yeah, was
year?
he
11.
hurt?
Hey,
why-
he
listen.
played terrible.
All I know
in
is
the Mountain West.
All I know is that's one example, but there's not a lot of examples of guys who were not productive in college that were great NFL players.
Hey, listen. We
quarterback.
We go back and look at it. Baker Mayfield was extremely. Josh Rosen extremely. These dudes. I mean, Lamar Jackson put up crazy numbers, but everybody kept coming back to Josh Allen. Like, listen, this dude. If we can figure him out, he got a howitzer for an arm. He run people over. This dude is a monster. And so they took him, and you see where he at. You see what they doing. Other teams be copying that. They're looking like, well, we could do with C.J. Stroud, and we might be win 8, 9 games, and we be middling. But we can win 5, 6, 7 games this year, keep building that up, and then win with old boy in a couple years.
You know, it's
That's
interesting.
different.
The Bears, I mean, Carolina's going to be awful this year, no matter who they draft.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a
They're
really
set up
high
for
pick
the
for
next
the Bears.
3 years. They've got a lot of capital now for the next
Right.
3 years.
Yep.
Well,
with
but
the
if
trade.
they don't get it right with the quarterback pick, then it's a disaster.
If this kid go number 1, this the biggest move I've ever seen in my life. From a jump from being like, I didn't even think he was going to come out, What are you doing? 2. Now all of a sudden it was late first round.
Well, that was Cam Newton too.
Yeah.
And
now all of a
these dudes
sudden,
with unbelievable measurables. Richardson had a historically good
but
NFL
Cam
combine.
Newton, it's a different story with Cam Newton. Cam Newton won a national championship.
and he won the Heisman.
And the Heisman
No, but I'm
Trophy.
saying coming to the draft, he was looked at as a mid-first round pick who, after a combine workout, ironically with Carolina having the number 1 pick, decided to take him number 1.
It's going to be
overall.
fascinating to see who they take. I don't buy for a second that they don't know who they're going to take. I don't.
I don't buy that.
I don't
either.
think you make that trade
Yeah,
unless you know who you
Well,
want.
but Schefter was saying that they might now trade back down. He had said that day that they would now trade down a couple of spots, which is insane to me. Probably, I don't buy that, but
That's crazy.
I don't either. I don't
yeah,
either.
it's weird.
One of the things that I think we're all going to watch really closely over the next couple of days, OBJ had a workout in Phoenix. Those that were in attendance said it was a good workout. Said he looked good. He answered any of the questions that might have been lingering about the torn ACL. By the time he plays again, it'll be 17 or 18 months between ACL tears. That's a really good length of time. If you can let your leg heal that long, that's
that's nice.
Even though you can come back at 9 months, everybody knows it takes 18 months before you're back to where you want to be. So I don't buy the fact that he looked good. I was surprised the Cowboys did not attend the workout, guys. The Cowboys, remember, were the odds-on favorite to sign him when he was available after he was, it ended up that he didn't sign because the leg wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Everybody said he's going to the Cowboys. They didn't even go to his workout.
Guys,
but the Browns did.
I think it would be a huge mistake if they signed Odell as their main offseason wide receiver acquisition. He's going to turn 31 this season. He's had 2 torn ACLs. He's hasn't played a full healthy season in like 6 years. Why on earth at this point it has nothing to do with what happened here the first time. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Right.
I just don't think he's the right answer for the Browns.
Yeah.
He's going to be 31 this season. He outside of the playoffs with the Rams, he hasn't been productive in 4 years.
If you told me who you taking, McCole Hardman or OBJ?
Well,
OBJ?
but the
OBJ.
price tag's going to be a lot different.
Well, that's speculation.
I mean,
we'll see what he wants.
Well, Hardman's looked at as he'll be a bargain. Like he's in the bargain bin.
Bargain.
First, I don't want either of them to be my top option.
No, you got to get something else. You got to get something else with that.
Do you have faith that Odell's going to be able to play a full season?
See, well, I have faith in that I only got 6 games. We ain't worried about Odell past 2 years. That's why you get Odell. He do something great. Do you get somebody else to come in? Back him up. He do well? Okay. If Anthony Schwartz want to show up and do something, and he look like he, okay.
I think we're signing this dream of. I think the thoughts of Odell are still his dream that he's going to be that player he was for the
Well,
Giants.
see, here's the thing. If it hadn't been for the 5 or 6 games, whatever it was that he played for the Rams down the stretch in the playoffs, I would say, God, no.
He
He's
didn't even
kryptonite.
do that much with the Rams.
Stop. Boy, you say that every
Come
time.
on now.
Stop. He was balling.
There's 2 things.
Scored a touchdown
Because they had a
before he had to leave
Cooper
the game.
Cup.
It don't matter. He did his thing. You know that.
There are 2 things here, right? So I understand wanting to sign Odell to put some star power on the other side and make the wide receiver core a little bit better. Bull has a point. Can he stay healthy? And I think that's a legitimate question. Can he stay healthy? But I will just tell you what, if you give me the choice of Hardman and Beckham, I'm only going one way. I'm going Beckham, and then I'm finding another person.
Find another
That's
cat.
it. That's what I'm doing.
This is a
But
package deal.
You have already committed to making this Browns team the best that you can in this short window of time. Because you only got a short window of time.
I don't need him to be good for 3
Nah,
years.
I ain't got that.
I need him
I'm
to
only
be
in the
good
next
next
12
year.
months. That's it.
And what you gonna pay him for? You don't even need him to be good every game. You got a number 1 receiver. You got a young dude in Donovan Peoples-Jones. You got a tight end. You still got Chubb. You don't need him to be. Oh, you know what you need him for? Give me 7 games when you was cold.
Is he going to complain when he doesn't get the ball?
I ain't heard.
Well, he has. That's his MO.
Hey, listen. It's a difference between complaining and you not getting the ball from one quarterback and complaining with the other one. Because that quarterback couldn't get nobody to route.
It's a difference between complaining and you ain't got a job.
Right. He done had 2 ACL
Diana
injuries.
Rossini of ESPN, the Bucks have shown interest in both Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett.
Interesting.
Bucks
McNuggets, don't you? If you listen, it's 12:08.
Who
Nah,
starts
we're
more
back here.
games this year, Jacoby Brissett or Baker Mayfield?
Baker will.
What'd you say?
Who starts more games, Jacoby or Baker this year?
Brissett.
I would say Baker does. I was disappointed when I read some quarterback columns and Brissett's name wasn't coming up a lot. Just wasn't. which means that there might be a window for the Browns to bring him back.
Good. Keep him right on up in here.
I would love if they could bring Jacoby Brissett back. I would love that. And I imagine they have a number in mind that if the bidding doesn't get to this point, we're willing to go to whatever it is.
Bring you back.
Because his familiarity in the system, his likability in the locker room.
Yep.
And it was a love affair between the fans and him last year, and he went 4-7. When was the last time a quarterback led the Browns to a 4-7 record, and the fans loved him the way we love Jacoby Brissett?
Hey, man, as long as they don't bring him in off the bench to throw corner routes.
He played well enough for them to be 7-4.
Yeah.
He really did.
He did.
They kicked away 3 games that if everything would have went their way and they can
Why
recover an onside
are you
kick.
always reminding us of that?
I know, because it hurts. Because the difference between 7-4 and 4-7 in this league
playoff run.
is 3 plays.
Right.
And it's the difference between being an also ran, and being in the playoffs.
Right, no question.
So it matters. And I thought his play, based on his play last year, I'm not ready to go in with Mond. I'm just not as the backup. Because you think
I don't think they will.
Well, just imagine if they do. All the excitement that we're talking about, they've made the right moves, they bring in this, they bring in that, they've got the defensive lineman, they've got the wide receiver, and in camp, God forbid, DW4 goes down, and then we're looking at Mond as the orchestrator.
Yeah, this is a great thing, man. Listen, the Browns are in a position where they doing something that is 2 different things: shopping for your own house and getting stuff that you need just to hold you over, or shopping because you got an event at your house.
Okay.
When you shopping when you got an event at your house, you ain't looking like, ooh, this is $6.99. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that. No, you got people coming over. You can't be sitting here picking over different things. I'll pick over $6.99 if I'm eating it by myself. Look, you come in, they be like, G. Bush had a party at his house. That man had chips with no dip. He was rationing the sugar on that Kool-Aid. Ooh.
Only 1.5 slices of pizza each.
1.5 pieces, and you know it's bad when you got
There's
people
a ration
serving.
sign next to the pizza box.
When you got your aunties or your uncles up there serving, putting it in the plate for you, that means ain't no more food coming after that.
That's right.
We're gonna give you 1 slice apiece, and you
One slice
Better make it
back.
last.
Look, you better look. We got water over here. They be like, what happened to them sodas? Straight waters. You got 1 case and it's open. You pick it from it. No, we ain't got time for that. It's a problem.
So we're shopping like people are coming over.
Yes, we shopping like we got company coming over.
Look.
Your boss is coming over.
It's Jesus like this. They say you go to the house and serve some liquor, and it's the bottom shelf. You know, you're like, what brand is this?
The top shelf is for us.
What's
You
Burnett?
guys get this bargain basement liquor.
Wild Irish Rose.
While we wait for news to break in the NFL, it's a good time to remind you guys that the 12 o'clock lunch hour is sponsored by
2020.
Colleague Racing.
There's a mad
Colleague Racing,
dog
your
up in this
official
party.
Northeast Ohio NASCAR team.
I can't believe it's 12-11 and we haven't had a
I
month
told
yet.
y'all,
I know.
McNuggets is looking bad.
I know.
The first free agent signing's official. Falcons re-signed fullback Keith Smith to a 1-year deal.
Is he one of the
I told you, only
AJ
interrupt with the
Vanderchuck.
quality signings.
He said, like, hey, the Falcons signed Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat is down to fullback.
Wait, didn't he gas the Browns last year for 190 yards?
The Patriots are expected to re-sign standout quarterback Jonathan Jones. He gets a 2-year deal.
Oh my God.
Listen, this is
Jonathan
Jones.
Isn't it back?
Defensive back.
I thought
Oh,
it
I
was
thought he said standout quarterback.
Corner.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan
Sorry.
Joseph. Yeah,
Josh
thought his name was
Johnson
Mac.
was the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to John Johnson.
He's
Yeah,
cut.
he's done.
He's finished.
He's done. They've really,
5 years from now, is Baker a starter, a backup, or out of the league?
Hell, I can't tell you that next year. How can we tell 5 years from now?
Guess.
I'd say he's out of the league.
Right?
I mean, that's where he's trending.
Guys who are first-round picks rarely stick around as backups.
Well, typically they go to bad teams, and they don't play well.
Right.
And then nobody wants to invest in them as
Right.
a backup because,
Right.
you know, the
They're gonna
backup.
wanna start.
Look at Colt McCoy, for crying out loud.
Right.
That dude's still in the league.
Yeah.
He's like
It takes a
97 years
mindset,
old.
though. It's a certain mindset
and
to be a
why?
long-term backup. I'm not
It's
sure.
hard. The first-round picks rarely become long-term backups.
Listen,
Back
hold on.
They're old.
Are typically very, very intelligent.
And you have the nerve to talk to me about Cardell Jones and Braxton. Why is Colt McCoy still around?
Hey, he
You know
is-
why? Because he's smart and he can pick
Is
up
he?
offenses. Every team that
Hey.
signs him, they say the same
But-
thing.
but can
This
he-
guy came in here and picked
how
up the
about
offense
how
in a
about
day.
how about the key component? Can he play?
Well, there were times last year Colt McCoy came in and played
Compared to
and
who?
played well.
Anybody. He could give me a slew of people that from Ohio State. I like Colt McCoy
Well,
could play dead at a funeral.
You know.
He's a backup quarterback.
He could play dead at a funeral.
As your backup
He's
quarterback,
pretty good this year.
as your backup quarterback, They don't need you to be actually good, right? They need you
You're a placeholder.
to understand
clipboard.
your game. See, you got to be likable.
Right.
You got to know how to play the game. You got to know how to speak. You got to know what to wear. Like
You got to have that relationship with the starting quarterback.
Right.
You know what?
That's
You just
important.
described Jacoby Brissett.
That's the
He is
important
the
thing.
prototypical backup
Do you guys know who the
quarterback.
Bengals backup quarterback is?
No.
Brandon Allen.
Who?
Right? He played for the Broncos briefly.
Yeah, I remember him.
He's not any good.
No.
But he and Burrow,
And that
they're
counts.
tight.
That counts for
You
something.
got to when they ask you a question, when nobody else don't want to talk to the media, guess who they can get?
the backup quarterback's
You
got
are
to be the starting quarterback's hype man, really.
You
too.
are the extension of the coaching staff in front office.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, if I'm already gonna pay somebody I don't agree with. Like, yeah, my starting quarterback is very talented. I pay him a bunch of money, and he might be kind of, we don't know. But my backup quarterback, I don't gotta pay you no money. I'm keeping you around so you make everything else look nice and clean, and then you could tell me you could be a mole in the locker room.
Yeah, I got
You be one of them dudes.
What is he, a mole
He's a
in the
mole.
locker room?
Mole. He's out there
We got
sniffing
some
out
actual
stories.
news here.
Yeah.
Actual news here
Hold
from
on.
Adam
Austin Eckler
Schefter.
thing?
Austin Eckler, the Chargers running
Yeah.
back, is requesting permission to speak with other teams about a potential trade.
Yeah, good luck with that.
After preliminary talks with a team aimed at a contract extension
The
did
running
not
back,
progress.
Eckler's
Not a
really
good
good.
time
The
to be
running
in-
back market is so oversaturated.
It's dead.
These guys are going to make no money.
Yeah,
None of
it's
these
dead.
guys are going to make big money. At
That's
running
why,
back.
you hear sometimes Browns fans will say, should we trade Nick Chubb? What are you going to get for him?
Nothing.
I mean, he takes a huge chunk of your salary, and the way the running backs are used in the NFL today, you don't want to build your team around a running back, and that's what the Browns did.
Hey, they low key.
A first signing on the board. Sorry, the
Here we go.
Bears are signing former Eagles linebacker T.J. Edwards to a 3-year deal. Edwards was actually
was a name that was
a
linked to the
real
Browns.
name to watch out for.
Yeah.
The
I got a
Bears-
Browns note here. It's not an official signing yet, but Troy Renk, who covers the Denver Broncos.
Sure, right. Okay, well, go ahead.
I know, Troy.
Broncos' most coveted free agent is defensive tackle Draymond Jones. Denver has stayed in touch, but the Browns are expected to be aggressive in pursuit.
He's in Cleveland.
He's a Cleveland guy. He's a Buckeye.
Yeah.
He's been linked to the Browns in
St.
the
Ignatius?
offseason from a number of different writers. I think that we had said earlier, what's the most likely guy? For me, it was Hargrave. For me, number 2 was Draymond Jones.
And he can rush
I think
inside, rush outside.
Those guys
He's
are
a
both getting a
tweener.
lot of money.
They're going to
Tweener.
get paid. And that's the problem. Like the Browns, their area of need is one of the areas in the NFL where talent is just so hard to come by. Look at the deal. I had written down, made a note. Who the hell was it that got $90 million? 60 of it guaranteed.
Yeah.
Deron Payne, which and now
right,
I know
right.
he's a pretty much a bar setter.
Right.
But when Payne got $90 million for 4 years, 60 of it guaranteed to stay with the Commanders,
Yeah.
that doesn't help the Browns any because it goes to show you that the market's thin at that position and the price tag's going to be steep.
But Jay, that brings me back to my point. At some point, you're going to run out. What are you going to do because you need many more pieces, right?
Yeah.
And if you're using 1 or 2 guys to suck up all the cash flow, where are you going to get your other pieces from?
Well, you've got 3 avenues: trade, free agency, and draft. Right now, we're talking free agency.
Right.
And for me, I think that either Jones, Hargrave, or Cox, you've got to come out of this free agency period with one of those guys wearing an orange
You
helmet.
have to have a sure thing at that position.
So
Yes.
The
So- gotta
second
get
guy
one
could
of the
be
3.
How much-
more of a question mark, but you got to have at least one sure thing at that
How
position.
much,
agree.
How much capital will be left to make
Plenty.
moves?
Well, I think there'll be enough. We talked about the potential for the Browns to have $40 million of cap space. Right now, it's at
Up to
22.
50 if they restructure.
Yeah, I did see a number that said up to 50. I think that everything's got to go their way with these restructurings, and it's expected they'll happen like the Watson one did. If they get $40 million in available space,
That's a lot.
then I want 2 named free agents because that's $20 million per. And if you can't win with those guys and the rest of the roster, and one of them's probably a defensive lineman and one of them's probably a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you just
Well, the
plug
wide
your 2
receiver
biggest
is
holes.
gonna be a trade. There's no free agent wide
Yeah,
receiver.
I think it's got to have to be a trade. I mean,
there's-
there are wide receivers available.
If they
but
want to
I don't
round,
think
if
they're
they want to
difference
round,
makers.
if they want to round out, say for instance, I'm okay with swapping. Like if you said I'm gonna sign Paris Campbell to a more of a minimal deal, and he's gonna take the place of Anthony Schwartz.
Right.
Fine, whatever. That's a swap. I like him better than I like Schwartz. And okay, but that can't be your top of the line.
No, they
move.
got to get
No.
a big time wide receiver.
I think they need a defensive lineman, they need a wide receiver.
Yeah.
If they can come out of this free agent period with one of the either Hargrove, Cox, or Jones, To me, if they miss on those guys, it's a big miss on free
Right, I got you.
agency. Although Tomlinson from Minnesota is another guy that they're targeting.
He'd be a great fit.
And perhaps DeForest Buckner.
Tomlinson's from the Chargers. Laken Tomlinson?
No, Dalvin Tomlinson.
Oh, there's two different Tomlinsons.
Yeah, Dalvin Tomlinson.
Dalvin from the Vikings.
Yeah.
Bull, you actually had them signing in your perfect free agency offseason plan.
He's my
on
second
Friday.
tier.
No, I
guys.
had Laken Tomlinson from the Chargers.
He's my second. He's in my second tier of guys. My first tier is the three that I mentioned: Hargrave, Cox, and Jones.
And if
You've got to get one of those three.
And if you could get, I didn't know Buckner was in there. I like Buckner.
He's a trade.
He's a trade.
Yeah, I like that.
He's a
If
trade.
you can get that, I'll take it.
So maybe they get Hargrave in a free agent deal, or Cox or Jones. And could you imagine if they made a trade and got Buckner via trade, and then you still have money to sign?
I don't think they can get Buckner and Hargrave. That would cost over $30 million between the two of them.
Yeah,
probably.
but if they get up to $50 million, you still have money for a wide receiver.
I just don't think they're going to spend big money on two defensive tackles.
Boy,
All depends on who's the
I
best
think
available.
you spend big money on. I think you spend medium money on two, or you spend big on one, and then a lower
Nuggets
tier
has
money.
one.
Two things real quick. The official numbers for TJ Edwards' contract with the Bears is in 3 years, $19.5 million, 12 guaranteed, which gives you a little bit of a linebacker market here for
Wow,
the Browns.
that's good for the Browns.
That's good for the
That's
Browns.
only $6.5 million per.
Well,
And
but
that-
where is he in the pantheon of linebackers?
He's pretty good.
Of
Like,
those
think
that
he
were
was-
available, he's in the
Now, he's
upper-
not like in the Tremaine Edmonds, Jermaine Pratt range.
No, but
They'll
he's
get
just
more
below
than that.
He's just below that.
But in that second tier range where they may go hunting for some bargain deals, I guess you can say, I think that's a good number for Cleveland to work within the realms of. And also, real quick before we go on,
I'm
Jay.
surprised at that number that he's not in Cleveland right now. Because of the Schwartz connection,
Right.
I just
Well,
think that would have been. I would have loved those numbers for that quality of player. It's an area of need for us.
Yeah, they must be targeting somebody else, is my guess.
Go ahead, McNuggets. What do you got?
Yeah, last thing, we got a ton of people on. As soon as news breaks, we're gonna hop in. We got almost 1,700 watching right now, which is awesome. Shout out to you guys. Just a reminder, real quick, we'll do it super fast. But if you're not a member already, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, for $1.99 a month, you become a starters tier. You get the custom badges and emojis in the chat. For $4.99 a month, less than $60 a year, you get all the same starter tier perks, overtime videos, member shoutouts, discount codes for merch, and much, much, much more.
Diana Rossini of ESPN says the Bears are targeting right tackle Mike McGlinchey. The Bears are going all in.
Yeah, they are.
They're
They
gonna
had the
be
most
busy.
cap room.
The Bears are making moves, and they need to. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said it earlier, they've got holes.
Well,
We've
they got bigger things. They've got the stadium issue in Chicago
Right.
that is driving the mayor out of office.
Yeah,
right?
she's gone. She's gone.
You out of here, right? You move him out to Arlington Heights? Really?
It's not gonna work.
We're gonna move you out of Chicago. You
not
out of
gonna
here.
That,
See how
in
it
fact,
works,
She
G?
kind of looked a little.
See how
bit
it works?
Like, she kind of looked a little like.
Like who? Like who?
The Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah. Look.
I saw her picture. I'm
That's
like,
stupid.
my goodness, how did she win in the first place?
She should have been walking around Soldier Field with a big sign telling her, "We gonna put a dome on this puppy and make it bigger." That's what she should have done. They're like, "Oh, you gonna let him go to Arlington Heights? You gonna take all this money out of Chicago?"
Oh, I know. I want to
Move
ask
to
you
the
guys about
suburbs.
DJ Chark. What do you guys think about him?
Who?
DJ Chark.
Chark.
I like him.
I'm fine with him as the second wide receiver addition.
So you want a big name and Chark?
I would.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if they'll do something that, because he's a decent player, but
He's
been very
big and he's
inconsistent.
fast. I like him.
Let me ask you this: do you think the Browns hierarchy is feeling the pressure here?
Hell yeah, they are. They better be.
So, I'm looking for some splashes here, not no medium.
No, medium
That's why I
isn't
said
going to
your
cut.
Beckham piece, some splashes here, right?
Yes.
Not just so medium size pieces.
It was interesting when I was in Arizona and talking to all the Guardians front office folks. Everybody agreed that they had two big holes in their lineup last year.
I
And
agree.
I'm going to juxtapose the
Okay.
Guardians to the Browns.
Okay.
Everybody agreed that the catching position and first base had to be upgraded.
Okay.
Had to be. And they made two moves. They went out and got one of the best available first basemen
Right.
and one of the best available catchers. They addressed their needs. Check, check. Efficient. Everybody agrees. All the baseball folks that I talked to out there not related to the Guardians all said the same thing. This team had little very little needs, and they addressed both of them.
Okay.
They could still add another bat. They could still add another pitcher. But the glaring weaknesses
They
were
got.
catcher and first base.
Well,
so
bring
we
me-
know
bring
what
me
the
current.
glaring weaknesses are for the Browns.
Okay, tell me.
Wide receiver, defensive tackle. Very clear cut. Everybody agrees.
Linebacker?
Go address them. Keep up with the Guardians. Go address them.
What about the linebacker?
Second tier need.
What about the corners?
No, corners no.
don't need anything.
Corners were
Safety.
Safety is another second tier need. Another linebacker, we need it, but that would be like the
got you.
Guardians needing another bat and
got you.
another
I got
pitcher. The Browns need linebacking help and safety help. But other than that, the glaring obvious, you've got to address these situations, are defensive tackle and
Well,
wide receiver.
don't forget the defensive coordinator. Don't forget the special
No,
teams coach. So
I was
mean,
just
so
going to say that. I was
addressing
just going to
needs.
say that. Now, people don't pay attention to, Tito's staff. We have Tito, so we think we've got the best manager in the game.
Right.
So we're flush there. But that's why I said earlier, the Browns so far, 2 thumbs up this offseason. 2 home runs.
Yeah.
They went out and got the best available defensive coordinator in my mind, and they went out and got the best available special teams coordinator in my mind.
Okay.
Fixing the 2 glaring holes in the coaching staff.
right.
Now get the wide receiver, the defensive tackle, and if you can somehow through trades or draft sprinkle in guys that can help at linebacker and safety, you've hit it out of the park this offseason, and you set yourself up for a season next year with all the turmoil in Baltimore.
Right.
You set yourself up to easily be the second placed, the team picked to finish second in the division. Behind the Bengals, they're not going to be able to do anything in my mind that's going to say, oh, you got to pick the Browns over the Bengals.
Not before we know.
We know how everything plays out. But Bull.
No, but I'm saying we're not going to know how good Watson's going to be until the season starts. So there's
Right.
no way you could have
Right.
put them over the Bengals.
That's what I'm saying.
Until you know that.
So if we can, clearly, I think that we have leapfrogged the Ravens already. They've got turmoil with Jackson.
Certainly if Lamar's not
and I
playing
think that
there,
they're ahead
yeah.
of the Steelers too. So, I mean, if they can check these boxes like the Guardians did, I would say starting the season, I've got them at 10 or 11 wins, and they're a clear-cut second-place pick in the AFC North.
And the reason I really feel like it's really imperative that you go get you a couple of receivers, too, is because you want to put pressure on your quarterback, too. You want to let him know, hey, look, last year you was a little rusty. That's cool. But we're going to give you everything that you need to be successful.
No excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah.
Come on. You got this guy. You got this guy. You got an offensive lineman. We ain't switched nothing up. It's the same coaching staff. Now it's back to, because at quarterback, this is when quarterbacks wear a C on their chest, what it means, hey, this is on you to a large extent. Like, this is the position that really counts. This is the position we need to get the most out of. And we got to have you playing lights out if we want to compete with the other team. And if you give him the ingredients, guess what? He has to perform.
You know what scares me about that, though? In the old world NFL, you're right. Mm-hmm. There's pressure. But in this scenario, there's zero pressure. Mm-hmm. He knows 4 years from now, when he looks at his bank account, there's going to be $230 million more no matter what the hell he does. But that scares me.
But what doesn't scare me is I think that he's a player that actually cares about his legacy.
So do I.
He cares about his image. He cares about trying to get it back.
But he's got a hell of a safety net.
Yeah, he had that money make everything good. But he been rich. Let's be clear. He got he had a contract before he got this one, right? Mm-hmm. Like the contract that he had was right under Patrick Mahomes.
Once you get all that guaranteed money, it's up to the individual how motivated.
Now
they
it's
are.
a character test.
Now you want to know if I'm Deshaun Watson. I mean, I want to stick it to everybody that's been on me for the past.
I
year
agree
and
with
change.
that. We'll find out what he's made of because he's got every reason in the world to play at an all-pro level.
Yeah.
Every reason in the world. And if he doesn't, the first thing people are going to start questioning is, did he work hard enough? Does he care enough?
Right.
Or is he looking at that bank account?
Right.
Because last year when Denzel got the bag, we saw what happened.
Yeah.
He took a big step back.
And whether it had anything to do with the money or not, we don't know. But
We don't.
That's the assumption people make.
It's an
with
easy
any
assumption to
athlete
make, yeah.
that signs a big contract, sometimes when you sign a big contract, we've heard players talk about this. You put so much pressure on yourself, you're like, I got to live up to this contract.
Maybe he did that.
That you don't play well.
Well, you can just hope that he's back in the laboratory perfecting his craft. I have not seen him around town.
I didn't see the period.
Not at the Cavaliers.
Denzel or
Deshaun?
Deshaun?
Deshaun. No, not at the Cavaliers game.
Right, right.
You usually will
Deshaun's
see
been all over the world.
see somebody
Deshaun's
somewhere.
on his Instagram world
And good
tour.
for him, by the way. Good for him.
Hey, if you can do it, do it. But man, you better show up and you better be you better be putting in the work that we're not seeing. Because if your Instagram in the off season is loaded with trips to beautiful locales, and you come out and you're 1-4 and you look like you did to end the season last year,
Keep coming.
it is on.
And that is why I am all for. I don't care if you think Jerry Rice you got something left. I'm kicking the tires on everything moving. OBJ, trades, get free agents. I need everything because what you want. See, at this point, it ain't even. You talk about OBJ. OBJ, no, he's got what he's gotten. He already got a championship ring, right? He's made a lot of money. He gonna be famous forever. At this point in time, Odell, that is not that ship has sailed with all these touchdowns and catches. You just want to come in and you want to prove that you still can play. See, that's a great thing about the league. Some people, once you get all the money, it's a lot of people on the Browns that had already got paid. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Nick Chubb, Watson got paid. The tight end that got paid.
You forgot OBJ. Wasn't he in that crypto game? Wasn't he trying to get paid in crypto?
Yeah,
Remember that?
He
Remember
did
that?
I think you're right.
Yeah,
He got paid.
That's why he needed $25 million.
Hey, that contract, yeah, he did. By the way, he did get that contract played in crypto.
Right.
For the Rams. Oh, boy. And by the way, what a
Well,
scam.
crypto's still solid.
But-
it was just one crypto that went bad.
Hey, I can't
Yeah.
listen. You know what, Jay?
I hope nobody has
Hey,
money
Jay,
now.
I don't believe in make-believe money.
I don't either.
Like,
I've had investors, really smart, wealthy guys, come to me and say, you need to be in crypto. And I said, I can't see it. I can't hold it. I can't touch it.
I can't buy nothing with
I can't
it.
put it in my wallet. I'm cool.
I'm cool, bro.
I'm not buying no ghost currency.
Let's go back to what you were talking about here. When you are in repair mode, trying to get better, right?
Are you talking as a player now?
Yeah, as a player.
Okay.
It's typically done behind the scenes, out of the eyes of others. Very few people see you grinding. That's what it is. You're grinding. Right?
Sure.
You're grinding in the early morning sunlight, late at night.
Yeah.
It's the discipline required.
Everything you put in your body?
Here it is. This is what we're doing, right? And then we'll see the end result when the time is ready. So now if you tell me my man is flying all over the country or all over the world, and the Instagram, if it's lit up with everything,
Yeah.
I'm just doing basic math. Where's the time? Where's this
I
at?
say the same thing. Now, last 2 years, one of the big knocks on Baker Mayfield was, and I'd hear it all the time, he'd throw a pick. If you weren't busy doing all those progressive commercials, you wouldn't have done that.
But that was stupid.
I mean, that is a bad criticism.
That's a
because
terrible criticism.
you can
Like,
shoot 6 commercials in
in
4
a-
days.
in a day.
And so you can take all those, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't care about the Instagram stuff as long as
You play well.
you play well.
When
and
you
Baker
suck-
did not, so it made,
got some more news,
it made
guys.
him a target.
If you
From
suck,
Jeremy-
any criticism's fair. I think.
Everything's fair.
Yeah.
From Jeremy Fowler, this is more interesting, not official yet, but the Chargers are expected to heavily pursue safety John Johnson III.
Wow.
Who will be released by the Browns this week. That would reunite Johnson with Brandon Staley from their days on the Rams.
That's interesting.
That's true. All these players we've heard that are released,
Yeah.
they don't really officially get released until Wednesday. when-
and with him, I thought that his date wasn't until June.
It's the 15th.
well,
No, I thought it was later because
they
to
were-
save the most in cap space.
I thought they
Yeah.
were cutting him by
that
the
when
15th.
they made the move, they said this will be effective on June.
if I remember correctly, you can cut a guy earlier
On the
and
15th.
designated a June 1st cut. I don't know how all this
and that would
works
free him up to sign his new deal
now.
effective
well,
June
Wednesday,
1st.
Yeah.
So the dates would still be out there, but okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so to your point is, you do open yourself up for criticism.
Yeah.
And I'm saying for him,
How did you spend your off seasons?
well, depending on what year it was. When I was young, and I was like, when I thought the world was working against me, get the hell up out of here. I'm going home, right? And I got older, and I was leaving Chicago,
Did
come
you
back
work
to
out?
come to,
I mean,
yeah, I did work out.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to be exchanged for being in the work environment with everybody else, right? Because they're pushing you. It's hard to push yourself by yourself.
So
all the time.
you're an advocate of staying in the city. So if it was Chicago, it was Chicago. If
Go
it
to
was
the
Detroit,
facility.
There's a discipline required, right? And then there's accountability because people have their eye on you to make sure. Because sometimes, G, you know this, sometimes you can't push yourself But you surround yourself with other people that are pushing you. We're all going to the same thing.
Right.
I can go to another, and then the other thing, you get the respect of the people that are like, damn, he put the work in.
Because they can see it.
So give me the mindset of a locker room when a leader, like Jordan was your leader, and who knows what he did in the offseason, but
Oh, he was a workout fiend. He was a fiend.
in Chicago where everybody could see him?
So he would be in the facility, but he had his boy Tim that was working
Right, I
on him.
know.
So he was doing his thing.
Okay.
But I'll give you a better example. I'll give you a better example. When I was at the Pistons.
Yeah.
Joe Dumars would get me up every morning. We going to the track. We going to this thing with the trainer, right? And so Joe would be there, Isaiah would be there, and this is like, man, this is in the summertime, July. It's like 80 degrees in the morning. They're like, nah, we about to run for real. That's
Wow.
Every day. That's what they were like.
So the expectation of a player in the NFL for their leader, how do they expect their franchise face to spend the offseason?
The franchise face sets the tone. It holds everybody else accountable.
So if he's there, it makes it more difficult for anybody to not be there.
Now, G, you gonna slide out with the top dog out there? You ain't sliding out nowhere.
So they used to have workouts back in the day. You could either, and so we was there when you went. Nowadays, it's year round. They pay people to stay in the facility.
Right.
They like, you a college player, you high level D1. I don't care where you at. You in the facility. You ain't going home like that.
Yeah, Cheyenne came home a week.
They never. At Ohio State, they never come
You're
home.
not coming home. Back then, it was like, okay, if you stayed, you didn't have no job, nothing. You was just down there on some meager rations, like you was Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking around, and I'm like, I gotta go home and get me a job, bro. I'm be down here a little starving. So I went home one year, and it was when I was younger. But here's the thing: they'll tell you, like, if you wanna go home, you better not miss no running tests. And you had to be stronger than you was when you came back. Right. So and then it was a little bit of a, they like, you supposed to be a starter. How you leave it?
Let me give you a prime example. Now, when I sent my youngest daughter to Maryland, Cheyenne, right? Last summer, she stepped out last summer, right? And so I have a good relationship with the coaches. So Brenda Freeze, future Hall of Fame coach, NCAA championship winner. During the summer, she called me. Can I talk to you for a second? This was after all the girls had transferred out, and Cheyenne's timeline was going to pick up this year, right? She called me and said, look, Cheyenne up here BSing.
Really?
She don't understand where we are now. The thing has changed. We're going to need you now, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to need you to come up here and talk to Cheyenne.
No kidding.
Yeah. And that weekend, Cheyenne don't know this. Hope she ain't watching this. I drove up to Maryland, right?
Unannounced.
Unannounced.
Want to see what she's doing.
I said, let me holler at you. We go to dinner over here at Busboys and Poets. Come on, you eat with me. I want you to know what this is all about. Never telling her I had talked to Brenda, right? But that's the kind of relationship we had. Like, listen, keep it 100. And I said, I'm going to need you to work. I said, I don't care if you were here at Abbey. I don't care who it is. I said, you here to work, right? I said, and this is just not for sports. This is set the discipline for after sports.
Sure.
I said, recognize your moment and go to work. And you know, after that, she went back to work. Took her a minute.
There you go.
But she went back to work.
Yeah.
And then that ended up being first team All Big Ten, but she had to work, right?
Yeah.
Now, you weren't going to get that coming back to Cleveland,
No,
right? Because you're going to fall out with your people.
Yeah, right.
And they're like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
got to go.
Absolutely.
So she would come home. When she comes home, Dad, I'm coming home for a week. Probably after the fourth day, she like, I'm going back.
I'm going
Yep.
back.
I'm going back.
It's out of a
The
routine.
Ravens have officially released Calais Campbell as well.
Stole my thunder there, Mike.
Wow.
Stole my thunder.
He waited after
It saved
Brad.
$7 million in cap space for Baltimore.
He waited till you
How
got
old
your
is Campbell?
monologue off.
Yeah.
And then
How old is Campbell? 33?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably about 33.
I'm guessing 30.
Calais Campbell is 36 years old.
Ooh,
So
36.
I just want to get back to this.
I know. He's been playing a minute, but he's
Jay,
been playing well.
Jay, get back to this.
Wait, real quick. Even bigger news.
Uh-oh.
Jason Kelsey not retiring, returning to Philadelphia.
Listen, I knew he
for
wasn't
another
retiring.
year.
I had a text conversation with our producer, Steve, during the season. He's like, oh, no, Kelsey's already retired. And I said, yeah.
Kelsey gonna get that money.
So did Aaron Donald last year. They just want it. They want to get the maximize the deal.
I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna need Deshaun Watson to really set the tone here. You're not the de facto leader.
Yeah, he got
a leader here.
Have your vacation now. Get the hell back here and work. Let's go.
Like, we got to go. He
Stop
got
horsing around.
to set this tone every day.
Yeah.
Right? This is not what happened this year will not occur again. And I mean, because if he forces it to the table, everybody else gonna fall in line.
I agree. I think if I was advising him, I would have said, "This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to work harder than we've ever worked before.
Yes, we are.
And our Instagram feed is going to show that work.
Yep.
Because there's going to be 52 other guys that see it and say, "Oh hell,
He working.
Deshaun's in there. We got to go."
Hey, man, listen,
That's what I need my leader to do. And by the way, he's paid to do that.
So he'd have got the
He's not paid just to play quarterback.
He'd have got the Brenda Freeze call. Like, let me holler at you.
But he's a grown-ass man. No one should have to call him.
No. Here, let me tell you. Sometimes even grown-ass men need to be called.
Well,
yes,
that's
they
the
do.
problem.
I need you to
No,
go.
because once you get them set straight, because, Jay, what happens is sometimes the money clouds your judgment, right? They equate the money
sometimes,
with
a lot of
making
times.
it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you have to separate the two.
But if I'm Kevin Stefanski, I let him know you're paid $230 guaranteed, not just to be our quarterback. You're everything. You're the face of our franchise, and we need you to set the tone. And here's how you set the tone: you're the first guy in, and you're the last guy to leave. And you're vocal about how much you're putting in. So when everybody else sees it.
So when I see him in San Tropez,
I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy
you're
about
in San
it.
Tropez.
Yeah.
Is that in Parma? Where's that at?
It's outside of Cleveland.
You gotta get over here.
I need him
South
to.
side of
He got enough money to buy one. I need you. It's Dragon Ball Z. I need you to be in the hyperbolic time chamber, my man. I need you to be in there with Piccolo and Vegeta.
Deshaun said, I want to be on the water. We got Lake Erie got water. We get your boat. You
If he's
ride on
not
the boat.
back, honestly, guys, if he's not back here
go
soon, it's disappointing.
to Puddin' Bay. Come on back.
Yeah.
Boy, you gonna put him on a curfew?
I mean,
when he got to be back?
Stay here, though.
Listen, his reputation is destroyed.
That's
He
right.
played like absolute shit this past year. All right, let's go. Let's go. They gave up everything for you. Now the Browns put everything on the line for Deshaun Watson. He's got to come in here and kick some ass.
When does the league calendar start?
When the league
You know what? I don't care about that. That doesn't matter.
If I were him, I wouldn't care about that.
Here's what I say to that.
It ain't about the league calendar.
Guys that ask about the league calendar
When I start.
are putting in the bare minimum.
I'll tell you what.
I need a
I'll tell you
$230
what.
million.
I know Joe Burrow is working right now.
Of course he is.
Hey, hold on. Let me ask you.
I know
this.
Patrick Mahomes is working
Let me
right
ask
now.
you. How you know he ain't
I don't
throwing to
know shit.
nobody at some indoor facility in
He might be. But the problem is, here's the problem is.
Because people don't know.
No.
He's not putting it out there on his feed.
You have to, you have to do it in front of everyone.
That's right.
So that everyone knows you are
Yes.
setting the
And
example.
that's part of
And you
setting
don't-
the
I can't
tone.
set the example through the screen.
And he don't get the benefit of the doubt after last year.
I got to be
No,
there when you
just
grunt,
like Baker
dude.
didn't, and Baker's
No,
been out
Jay.
shooting a million progressive
That's
commercials.
right.
I have to be there when you grunting. I can hear you grunting like.
Right. I want to see you sweat.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Somebody help him. He can't get that last rep up.
You
Right?
know, one of the things
Yeah,
that
have
I
to see that.
credited Hugh Jackson for, and I thought Hugh handled this marvelously. Baker came in with the same, #1 pick, Heisman Trophy winner, what's up? And Baker said, or Hugh Jackson said, "Time'd you get in?"
Right.
I don't know, 10 o'clock? Yeah. You know what time our starting quarterback got in? 7 o'clock.
That was the only smart thing Hugh Jackson
Yeah, that was
said.
only.
No, but you know what? We heard that we
Yes.
heard that whole conversation on Hard Knocks.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I thought, good on Hugh.
Yeah, that's true.
Because this young man thinks he's going to show up at 10 when the starting quarterback is showing up at 7.
Here.
You want to catch that guy. You got to get there at 6:30.
Another no-name signing real quick, Brad, but guard Ben Powers has signed a one-year deal
Oh,
with the
is
Denver
that
Broncos.
Austin's cousin?
That's Austin Powers'
Austin
cousin.
Powers' cousin.
Former Ravens guard Ben
He's
Powers.
a Ravens player. It's not a no-name guard. The
don't
Ravens
know.
just lost a good player.
Good. Way to
Four-year
go.
deal to the Broncos.
Well, let's go.
Is that to help Rusty?
You know what?
Russell.
That's addition by subtraction.
So I'll tell you.
We just got better.
So your point you just made. Remember I told you Dumars in the morning,
Yeah.
summertime. He wouldn't come to my house. He'd call me in the car like, "I'm leaving. Where you at?"
Wow.
And I'm like, "I'm right behind you. I'm already on the road," because I knew he was gonna be there on time. Because we were gonna be there all day, but we were gonna work right. We were there. Right?
That's how winners are born, right there.
Yep. He just
Leaders
he
from
just
within.
wanted to know. He just wanted to know his road dog was gonna be there because he didn't want to work by himself. Like, okay,
Right.
let's go. I like, man, I don't never go work out in the morning. I work out in the evening. We're like, no, we're going to work out in the morning.
The morning. If
Get it out of the way.
If you can work out here's how you know you're in shape. You in shape. Every man who's ever played something knows this. If you get up and you consistently be up at 6 on that Breakfast Club,
you're ready to go.
You in shape.
Yep.
And you look around in the gym, and the people that's looking around in the gym at each other, I guarantee they successful. You see some doctors, some lawyers.
Isn't that part of the culture?
That's the part of the culture.
That's the part of the culture that has to be set by your leaders.
So if you're an underling from the leader, right?
Underling.
No, you're underling because you don't have as much juice as they have.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So you sit here and you say, if you see the top dog working, you can't. Man, I ain't gonna do it.
It rubs off on the rest of the team.
I can't say I'm not doing it. Right?
Yeah.
Guilt these guys into doing it. And so Bull made the point, he's got to be back soon.
Yeah.
Look, I agree. Everybody needs time
We need
to
a break.
decompress.
Yeah.
But
Get your
their
mind right
season
before we go.
ended more than 60 days ago.
I don't want to see Deshaun Watson only here for training camp.
Right.
Or for
I
a
don't
couple of
either.
mini camps. He's got to set the tone. This franchise has been a joke because they haven't had guys to set the tone.
Yeah.
They've had guys, they sign guys that get overpaid. They take the money and waste the money like Dwayne Bowe and all these other scrubs that they brought in. They need some leaders.
Man,
Nick Chubb is a leader who all he does is work. But the quarterback's got to lead the way.
He's got to be the guy. He's
got to be the guy.
He's paid what he's paid because, yes, he can get it done on the field.
Right.
But he also needs to help set a culture here that is a winning culture, and you don't do that.
And I'm not saying
Instagram.
he doesn't. You know, I'd like to see him at some charity events around town, right? You have to become indoctrinated with the community, right?
I thought we'd see more of him doing good things in the community.
You can't think that everybody here is against you, right? You can't, right?
No.
If you're going to assume the face of the franchise, you have to assume the face of the franchise.
And don't talk the talk, because he's talked it.
Right.
But I want to see him
Come
live it.
on out here.
I guarantee you a lot of our young fans right now are on in the chat room saying, he's a young man, let him have his fun. You know what? The harder you work, the better you play.
I will tell you what.
It's that simple.
I'll tell you who has assumed the face of the franchise. Donovan Mitchell has assumed the face of the franchise because he's at all little events. He's always saying the right thing.
Yep.
He's always held himself accountable. I'm not running from the interview. Tell me on the good days and the bad days, because that's what the de facto leaders do. They just do.
Nick Chubb's doing it.
I got a question for you guys real quick. Bull, specifically for you. In your wildest dreams, could you imagine being 45 minutes into the free agency window and us having really one deal, two tops
It's
that
been
are big?
an oddly slow start to free agency.
Do you think it has anything to do with the commissioner last year being upset about all the illegal tampering before? So now, even though some deals are agreed upon, they may be waiting to announce them till later?
Well, they're not announcing them. They're all getting broken by reporters. None of these teams are.
But you get what I'm saying.
But they're getting leaked by agents or team officials.
Yeah, right.
So
Maybe they were
are.
told to hold off a little bit this year, a couple
maybe
hours.
at 2 o'clock we're going to adjust. It just seems crazy to me that
Yeah,
we're
because usually
46
12
minutes
o'clock
into
hits
this and
and
we've
there's
had
just a
nothing
flurry
to
of
dig our
moves.
teeth into.
Yeah.
No, you're right about that. But
Nobody want to set the market. When you're looking at it, there's no huge name out there that's going to set the market. Like right now, Lamar Jackson is in limbo, so we don't know what the market
Nothing
is for
can happen
quarterback.
with him till Wednesday.
So we haven't heard nothing with him. There isn't very many
we
top
could
price
hear news, though,
receivers.
before Wednesday.
He's not for whatever it's worth. The tampering period does not include guys who are franchise tagged. So they could.
Yeah, but there's talks going on.
There could be there's all this illegal, but just like this Ben Powers move, who
Right.
I think is a big move because he's been a starting guard for the Ravens and they just lost one of their starting offensive linemen.
36 straight starts for him.
Right, including all
Baltimore.
17 games last year. I'm sure he agreed to terms with the Broncos a couple of days ago, or
Yeah, they didn't do it in
but they
42 minutes.
Right, so they announced it today,
Right.
or he announced it, or it got leaked.
Maybe the commissioner did say, guys, let's not have a flurry of activity at noon. Let's just sort of let him leak out.
Doesn't he know we're on the air at noon? Like,
Well, here's the thing, too.
Goodell, what you doing, man?
You would think that once one was out of the barn that they would all start announcing.
Well, there's two for the Ravens. Like, you got to think about it. They've gotten considerably worse. They lost Calais Campbell, and they lost one guy up front, and Lamar Jackson is in no man's land. So good for y'all. Keep going. And then you got your old dude with the receiver from Minnesota. What's his name?
Adam Thielen?
No, he played at Minnesota Golden Gophers. He came out and told the general manager, "You need to."
Oh, Rashad Bateman.
Rashad Bateman came in and said, "You need to stop. Why are you talking? You need to figure out why everybody hurt." I'm like, this is great. I love it, man. I love it.
Dysfunction in any other place in the AFC North is welcome.
And that's why
we've led the league in that for years.
And when we signed Deshaun Watson, y'all, we don't sign people like that. We hang our hats on being Ravens. Shut up, John Harbaugh.
Did Ray Lewis kill someone?
Yes. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean that's on the moral high ground scale. That takes the cake.
I'm like, y'all go more.
So yeah, he should really. He should pipe down.
That's what happens when you get them Super Bowl rings.
It's
right?
from Dan Graziano of ESPN. Sources with multiple teams believe the Broncos could trade a wide receiver today. Denver's had talks with teams about Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler.
Yeah, Judy's a guy that we've talked about before is perhaps ending up in Cleveland.
Teams say the Broncos asking prices high, not just jumping.
Oh,
really?
Jumping. But they said they got high prices for Jerry Jeudy, and they said it's kind of high for your boy
Cortland Sutton.
Sutton and D Hopkins. Said they're asking for a whole lot from these guys.
Well, you could ask for a whole lot. Doesn't mean you're going to get
Yeah,
it.
you're asking prices.
The Rams certainly weren't asking for a third-round pick and a tight end with one career reception for Jalen Ramsey, but that's what they got.
By the way, that's kind of
true.
crazy.
That is crazy.
Third round. Listen, if that's a third round pick for him, I'm giving out 5s and 6s.
But doesn't it tell you what the rest of the league thinks of Jalen Ramsey?
Man,
collectively, that's the best they could get.
If you saw the Super Bowl, he was getting torched.
He did.
He was getting torched
all through the playoffs.
He was getting torched. I was like, this is the dude. This is the dude.
He's not the dude anymore.
He's not the dude.
He's not.
Man, that
He
was
was
2
the
years
dude.
ago.
You was the dude. Here.
You want for a third big dog?
See, because I keep going back to Deshaun Watson, and you know I like Deshaun Watson. I need you to assume the throne here.
Take it.
Right, because here, you have a multitude, an army of folks ready to follow here. We're tired. We are tired, right? We're tired.
I'm so tired.
I'm like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. I know you got the hot girl, right? He got the hot girl, right?
He's the man out here in the
Dude,
streets.
you in the streets. But I like, come on, dude.
I think he's going to do it.
I need him to be the man over the Palmer Streets or Berea Streets,
Right.
rather, not the
Warrensville
Palmer
Streets, so don't
I
lead
need
him
him
out.
in Berea. I need him over on Lou Groves Boulevard. I need him being the man in the Lou Groves Boulevard from 6 in the morning until 6 in the evening, every day.
How many hours is that?
That's 12 hours
listen.
every day.
need
Hey, for $230 million, you know how much coal you have to mine for $23,000 a year?
Oh, gee,
yeah.
And you can add 6
They just
zeros to the back of that.
Did you see that special on Calipari and the coal miner in either it was Virginia or Northern Kentucky?
Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see it. What was it?
So there was a
But Eastern
family.
Kentucky's
you talk
filled
about
with coal mines.
there was a family that of coal miners, family, husband, wife, and some kids.
Oh, that he brought. Yeah, I did see
And
that.
the kids, they were playing an exhibition game in Kentucky because Kentucky basketball is big, and the kids love Kentucky, and his father was a big fan, and so in order for the family to go to the game, he wanted to take the son to the game. By the time he got to the coal mine, he didn't have time to go home and change. So he grabbed the kid, had the kid meet him down there. He came straight from the coal mines, sitting there. If you ever seen anybody come from the coal mine,
They're covered in it.
they're covered in coal. The coal soot, right? And Calipari saw the guy. He was sitting like right behind the bench almost, and he sat there and he was like, "That's the guy I'm using as an example for my kid, my team. Here's a guy that said, I don't care what I look like.
Just worked 10 hours in a coal
That's
mine.
for my son, right? And I'm coming in here, right?" And Calipari found out who he was because he saw it in a picture later. And he was like, "Find this guy." And he had a guy come in to talk to the team. And he brought him in there, set him up behind the Kentucky at Rupp Arena, did their thing, right? But that's what we're talking about here.
See, it's different because obviously the school isn't paying these players.
Right.
But let's just say that was a guy in Cleveland that was working down
At the steel mill.
in the steel mill,
Right.
or down on the docks.
Yeah.
Those are the guys paying the $23 million
Yes!
salary and the $35 million salary.
That you don't think they are, but
and
they
guess
are.
What? They're getting their tired ass out of bed every day at 7 o'clock and dragging them to do a job that they probably hate, that's physically making them far older than they are.
Getting paid.
And then
nothing.
they're taking what little disposable income they have left after their groceries and their rent, and they're saying to Deshaun Watson, "Go win some football games for me, dog. I'm counting on you."
That's why.
And he's out touring the world on Instagram.
That's why I rail against the load management and all that.
That's right.
Because that's the reality of where you are. You have to understand this. Hey, we ain't in Hollywood. It's not Hollywood. It's not.
No, these are blue-collar
This
fans.
is we on the streets
that
here.
work their asses off.
Right.
We expect our pro athletes to do the same. Go through in time and look at the guys that Cleveland has embraced. They're always the gritty. They're the guys that will dive on the floor for a loose ball. They're the guys that will take the head-on hit instead of running out of bounds to get that extra 8 inches.
If you find this video out here about Calipari and this coal miner father, and I mean, when I tell you he was sitting there covered, you know how it
I bet
looked.
Mike
there.
can find the picture.
I'm like covered in soot.
Yeah.
At the first row of the game. You think your kid is embarrassed?
No, he's happy to be at the game.
Yeah. Kid like I'm with my father here.
McNuggets has something.
Want to remind everybody just one more time that our 12 o'clock lunch hour is sponsored by Colleague Racing. Colleague Racing, your official Northeast Ohio NASCAR team.
Ben Powers' deal with the Broncos, 4 years, $52 million, 28.5 guaranteed.
This is Blue Balls and TV Sports Edition is what we just occurred.
Yeah,
right now.
I hype this as the most frenetic hour we've
I
done
know.
yet.
Unfortunately,
And you know what? If you listen carefully, you can hear the crickets.
I didn't even the rundown. We talked about this all last week. This 12 to 1 hour on Monday
I
was
know.
going to be absolute chaos.
I was screaming and yelling, Steve, we can't put guests on today.
We can't be Russell till later in the week.
Tomorrow,
we needed to.
tomorrow we'll have a lot of news.
Yeah.
Hey,
Unfortunately, I can't be on tomorrow. I'm pissed about that.
Speaking of, man, you know, did we even talk about memberships today? Did we do that?
Yeah, he
We
read
did.
it.
We
I
can
just
remind
sent you
him
that
again,
photo,
G.
Mike.
Hey, man, come on. Hey,
Oh, the
listen,
coal mine? I want to see it.
you got a touchdown. You get the $1.99 tier. You know what it is. We got the badges, custom emojis, members only community posts. Then we got the big boy tier, $4.99. You can get some.
That's the Deshaun Watson
That's
tier
the
right
Deshaun
there.
Watson tier. If we got any breaking news, we'll drop that in overtime, which will be in a couple of minutes. All the overtime content, definitely all the starter tier perks are included in that. And then if you're balling on a budget, you know how we do it. You can go ahead and hit that like button for us. It's free.
Subscribe,
hit the like button, and then we right in there.
You
McNuggets.
You B.O.B. balling on a budget.
Balling on a
That's
budget.
okay. We take all
That sounds like
comers.
the title of a book, doesn't it?
B.O.B.
If
You
you
get
ever write a
that
book,
photo, Mike?
Can that be your title?
I got to pull up one
Balling on a
sec.
budget.
Balling on a budget, yeah. That's half my life.
This is a huge one.
Boab.
Fullback tight end Andrew Beck plans to sign with the Texans.
This is terrible.
Wait, more. Hold on. Packers fans.
No.
Are you ready? All-pro returner, Keshawn Nixon, 1-year deal, $6 million.
Now we're beyond desperate for transactions.
That's why we're going to the photo, Mike.
And here's the picture. Brad, you can take Steve, take a full.
Yeah.
That's not
There
it.
is
Is
the. Well,
Yeah, no,
you
that's
sent
not
me one
the
from
picture.
a.
That's not
locked,
the.
but you sent one from a locked John. I can't just download that and legally.
No,
put it on
get
air.
the full face one. That's not the one
Yeah,
we want.
yeah, the one you sent, Brad, is illegal to put on air. That's stealing.
We don't have
content,
rights to it.
unfortunately.
We
Yeah,
don't have
rights
rights
to that
to it.
picture.
That's a pretty good depiction, but he had coal dust all on his
Oh,
face,
yeah.
around his eyes.
You're going to make me send you another
Is it illegal if I show it on the phone through?
No.
Okay, then
I
Steve,
mean,
take my
and
camera.
it is, no one's watching. The
You guys can't-
photo police. Yeah, that's the one I saw too.
Oh, yeah, I can see it right there. Yeah,
see
oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of illegal to put out there directly. So, oh wait, more news. Hold on. Falcons have agreed to terms with defensive tackle David Omiyata.
No one
Source
knows.
says
You
reunites
can't
with
pronounce
defensive
his name.
coordinator Ryan
Omiyata.
Nielsen.
Omiyata.
Falcons fans are ordering their Super Bowl tickets now.
Bro, this is devastating to McNuggets.
I know McNuggets had such
I'm
high hopes.
legitimately
I
hurt,
was
man.
so excited. I
I
love
was
this day.
too. I thought it was going to be nuts. You know what? I guarantee you, I'm going to be on
Second we go off the
the
air.
treadmill in 20 minutes, and my phone's going to be blowing up.
Yeah.
Hey.
This one to the Browns.
Hey,
This
if
one,
it happens before 2:30, while people are still in the studio, I know Jay, you're still here. We'll be upstairs.
we can fire
By
up.
the time you get, we'll hop on a restream. If there's a
Okay.
big Brown signing, we'll hop on and do something.
Good. I think that's a good idea.
But this is disappointing, guys.
I mean,
Shame on the NFL.
When it was 12:08, I said, McNuggets, what we doing here?
I know.
They was chirping it. I was like, ooh, this is.
Which I thought they had deals queued up.
Yeah, they thought he had something in the pipeline.
It's only in the pipeline.
Them moves is on a layaway for you, McNuggets.
if you
You
get-
gonna get them out in 2 months when your dad get his second paycheck.
Well, I think we're all,
Away.
the thing is, I still expect the Browns to be very busy in these first few days.
What will I mentioned earlier to scratch my minimum requirement? I want a name receiver and a name defensive tackle. What's gonna what?
To
what
me,
will
it's
be
not about
okay
the name;
for
it's
you?
about the quality of the player.
That's what I mean, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, would that do it at wide receiver?
I like
Probably.
Jerry Jeudy.
That would do it for me.
Absolutely, Jerry Jeudy is a top 20 receiver.
Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yes.
move. That would move the needle for me.
Hey,
But
don't go.
Any of the defensive tackles we've talked about, Brandon Cooks. I'm not as high on DeAndre Hopkins, but you know,
too old for you.
yes, but
You're not. You're definitely not on OBJ.
no.
One more deal, real quick. Andrew Beck to the Texans.
I already said Andrew
Yeah,
Beck
he
to
said
the
that.
Texans.
He said
Oh,
that.
you scooped.
I thought he was already
You can't
selling
repeat
insurance.
You scooped
meaningless
Schefter.
moves.
I didn't hear you, Bill. My bad.
This is Mortensen versus Schefter. Who had it first?
Friendly fire.
McNuggets. I already had it.
Wait, did you see in a basketball note that Damon Stoudemire, the longtime NBA
Yeah.
player, is now the coach at Georgia Tech?
Wow.
Oh, did they get Stoudemire?
Yeah.
Did he? He left Portland. Where was he at?
Celtics.
Celtics.
With the Celtics, yeah.
Good for him.
George.
All right. Well, what right now the plan is for overtime is
So
to
we're
do
gonna do
more
viewer questions.
mail.
Continue some from Friday.
But if something big goes down, you might want to
what
buy
I
that
think we'll do is
$4.99 because
we'll start a question, and then if something breaks, we're just gonna pop in and
we're
break.
going to go with
So-
it. We're going to go with it in overtime. But you got to hit that.
What about this one, Mike? I
join
just sent you
membership.
something. Courtesy of Kentucky Coal Miners.
All right. Well, I got
More pump for coal miners than football
It's
moves.
the
Yeah.
same picture.
But this was courtesy of Kentucky
This
Coal
one's
Miners.
courtesy Kentucky Coal Miners, so it's
Let's see how quickly we get in tag board, Anthony.
we can use it. I felt so sorry for. My first job was in Eastern Kentucky.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's tough
And
over there.
I got to tell you, terrific people, hardworking people. They love their Kentucky basketball, and they're loyal.
Last
They're
one, Bucks
loyal
are planning to release veteran guard Shaq Mason, due $8.5 million next year.
Okay.